wherever one looks. It's also a city that over the years has become totally involved with its Washington Redskins. Countless Redskins fans are already talking another Super Bowl trophy. And they know if that's to happen, their young quarterback Jay Schroeder must continue to astonish his fans, the critics, and his opposition. Since replacing an injured Joe Theismann a year ago, Schroeder has a remarkable 13-3 record. Speedy wide receiver Gary Clark has matured with Schroeder, while Art Monk has been and is one of the game's best. Tonight, the Redskins meet the San Francisco 49ers, a team also familiar with the Super Bowl, having won their second only 2 years ago, and a team led by the incomparable Joe Montana. Joe was Super Bowl MVP following their lopsided win over Miami after the '84 season. But that Montana will play tonight is a bit of a miracle. In the first game of the season, Montana injured his back so severely while throwing from an awkward position that he was forced to undergo spinal disc surgery. There were questions as to whether Montana would ever play again, much less this year. Then last week, less than 2 months later, Joe shocked one and all when he returned to lead the 49ers to a lopsided victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. He played as only he can, and more importantly, without pain. 3 times, Joe unloaded bombs to talented Jerry Rice, and it was clear to all that the 49ers leader was back. Tonight, from the nation's capital, the 49ers problem has become the Washington Redskins. Joe Montana is back in a game critical to both the Washington Redskins and the San Francisco 49ers.
Explosive game offensively. 3rd and 14. Going for Washington again. Oh, he got it. Steve Washington took it away from Mark Washington. Hayes. Here they come. He's going to get the first down. Jeff Hayes in a full sprint. And I'll believe this. 3rd down and 7. I love it, Coach. Now the safety blitz. The delay is on. Montana reads it, gets it to Nehemiah. It's all over. Nehemiah was a bullfrog. We are live from Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium in Washington, D.C. Tonight, the San Francisco 49ers meet the Washington Redskins. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clear, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Nissan, who invites you to test drive the new Go Anywhere Nissan Pathfinder at your Nissan dealer now. By Braun Electric Shavers. Braun, designed to perform better. And by Apple Computers, makers of Macintosh Personal Computer, the business solution that gives you the power to be your best. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and welcome to a charged Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium in the nation's capital. The reason, of course, the San Francisco 49ers are in to play the Washington Redskins, and over the past few years, they have played some magical games. On the line tonight for the Redskins, they need a victory tonight to stay abreast of the Giants in the NFC Eastern Division. The Giants winners yesterday over Minnesota. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, they need a win to increase their percentage lead over the Los Angeles Rams, who lost yesterday to New England. So much is on the line from the standpoint of the divisional standings, but what has been occupying everyone's mind has been the return of Joe Montana. He came back a week ago after being out for several weeks, net less than 2 months with spinal disc surgery. Much was said about whether he came back too earlier. The medical team was quoted, sometimes erroneously. We thought we'd get it straight from Joe and Dr. Arthur White, his orthopedic surgeon.
Playing football is a dangerous sport, and he is as ready and was as ready to play as he ever would.
What he's doing, he totally believes in his own ability. He believes in the medical team, and they say he is ready, and he is indeed ready. One thing we do know about Joe Montana, this is a different football team when he is the leader. Much like Jim McMahon leads the Chicago Bears, this is what Joe Montana means to the 49ers, and I think we'll see that tonight. Meanwhile, they take on the Washington Redskins. The Redskins, they are tough no matter where they play, but they are indeed tough at RFK Stadium. Al, you've been watching this action here. I think your first game here at RFK Stadium. It's a supercharged crowd, and we'll hear a lot of them tonight.
And you can see why the Redskins play so well at home, have over the past several years. They're unbeaten at home this year, in fact. And this is very much a vital game for Washington for a couple of reasons. If they lose tonight, they would be a game back of New York. And then they have Dallas coming in here over the weekend. Were they to lose to Dallas, it would be their second loss to the Cowboys. They'd be even with Dallas, and that would deal a very severe blow to their wild card hopes. So tonight they try to stay on top with New York in the NFC East, in a game that should be a very high-scoring game. Both teams with explosive passing attacks. There is Jay Schroeder in his first full season at the helm, taking over for the retired Joe Theismann. He has great receivers in Art Monk, in Gary Clark, and in Clint Didier, a team that can score a lot of points, a team that has also proven it can come from behind. 3 times this season, the Redskins have trailed going into the fourth period, and they've won on 3 occasions under those circumstances. And tonight they'll be going up against a San Francisco secondary that gets Ronnie Lott back. He's missed 2 games, and also features a pair of rookie cornerbacks. So San Francisco and Washington in a great matchup. Washington slightly favored by virtue of the home field advantage. The Giants 9-2. There's Washington right now. Dallas coming from behind to stay in the race yesterday, and Philadelphia and St. Louis gone. At the moment, San Francisco leads in the NFC West because of the Rams' loss. And look at New Orleans. They're back in it at 6-5 and red hot. And Atlanta has faded to 500. Washington to receive Ray Wersching, who had been in a slump and came out of it last week with 3 field goals against St. Louis to kick off. Ken Jenkins and Clarence Verdun. Jenkins 31, Verdun 89 to receive. And it's Jenkins from the 6. Pass to 20, loses the football at the 28-yard line, and a scramble for it. So a fumble on the opening kickoff, and Washington has it.
Now, the San Francisco 49ers are leading the league in turnovers, and we get one almost on the very opening play. They are opportunistic in every way.
And for Washington, Schroeder with 12 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. And then the men with him, Rodgers is the sole running back, and we'll also see Kelvin Bryant, Monk, Clark, and then the 2 tight ends with Didier really a flexed tight end or H-back, and the men up front for Washington. 1st and 10 Redskins from the 27. With Clark left and Monk going in motion. Fake to Rodgers. Schroeder pressured, sacked at the 9-yard line. Dwayne Board, number 76, in his 7th season out of North Carolina A&T for a big loss back to the 9. That's an 18-yard sack.
He's one of the best and has been for a long time. They have moved him over to the left side tonight. Dwayne Board coming from the opposite side where he ordinarily lines up, playing defensive left end tonight. There he is in dead pursuit, and Schroeder, a good athlete. No way he could get away from Board, who is not that big. He's only about 250, but what he loses in size, he makes up in quickness.
They give him forward, or should we say backward progress to the 11, so it's a 16-yard sack officially. And Kelvin Bryant is already in the game on 2nd and long. And he's in the pattern, and another sack back at the 4-yard line. And that's Charles Haley, a rookie out of Little James Madison, who has already made a big mark in San Francisco.
He has indeed. That was his 8th sack of the season, a 4th-round draft pick. He comes in there on the pass rush. The Redskins drop into their pass protection, but they're facing the 4-man front. Here it comes over on the left side. Joe Jacoby, the biggest lineman out there at left tackle for the Redskins, could not handle him.
What a way to begin for Washington. Fumble the opening kickoff, but recover. 2 big sacks. 3rd and 32 from the 4. Four-man rush, and he gets it away, complete to the 19 to Monk, but well shy of the 1st down, and San Francisco should get the ball back at about midfield.
What you like about Schroeder, however, nothing seems to change this man. He's unflappable. We saw him come in just about a year ago when Joe Theismann had that serious injury. He came in and pulled the Redskins back from what looked like a defeat against the Giants, and he has been spectacular ever since. 13 of 3, but he is ever so cool no matter what he's doing.
You saw Cox to kick, and that's Don Griffin, the rookie cornerback who returns kick, standing at his own 40-yard line. Griffin at the 38 with no blocking. And a 5-yard run back as he takes it back to the 43, and Todd Bowles gets down there to make the tackle. He's been exceptional for Washington on special teams. So now Montana, there are his career numbers. He's playing in now his 3rd game of the season, the opener and last week. And the men with him, Cribbs, who came from Buffalo, and Craig. Then Clark and Rice, who's been sensational, Francis, the tight end, and up front, Bruce Colley will have his hands full with Dexter Manley, the left tackle.
How about this crowd? Place is rocking.
Montana to the air. And Clark tries to one-hand it and can't. Covered by the cornerback, Barry Wilburn. Last week, Montana, just to get his feet wet, came out and the 49ers ran 7 running plays before he threw. But tonight he goes right to the air. Mann, Butts, Grant, and Manley, who has 12.5 sacks. Olkowitz has played exceptionally well in the last 3 to 4 weeks. And Green with Wilburn at the corners, and Walton, the rookie at strong safety. Curtis Jordan, the veteran, the free safety. 2nd and 10. Cribbs out to the 49-yard line. Kind of lost in the shuffle last week, Frank, because everybody was thinking about Montana was the fact that Joe Cribbs gained 105 yards on the ground.
When Wendell Tyler was released November the 4th, made a lot of people in San Francisco unhappy, a lot of players on the 49er team. But what Bill Walsh did, he said, in effect, Joe Cribbs, you are my other back along with Roger Craig. We won't be switching you off anymore. And I think it helped Joe Cribbs. It would help any running back. He knows he is the man they're going to call on now.
On 3rd and 4, Montana, short drop, throws complete, first down, 43. And that's the newest superstar in the NFL, and a true superstar, Jerry Rice, having a fabulous season.
Working against Darrell Green. Darrell Green with the great speed, but he has to expect that Rice could go deep. He's been looking at it all week in films of the St. Louis game, and Montana was absolutely dead perfect. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of lengthy, time-consuming pass drops by Montana, at least early in the game, while the Redskins' defensive line is fresh.
That was Rice's 50th catch, and it's Francis in motion. Swing pass to Craig, and he's out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
That's what we will see a lot of, because Montana reads it so quickly, reads that 49er offense like no one you're going to find in this game today. He looked downfield. The receiver was working, his deep receiver working against the defense. He knew he could not get the ball there. He didn't even hesitate. Fired it out to Craig and gets the completion. And it could have turned into a long gainer.
No gain on the play, so it's 2nd and 10 from the 43. Craig again through the middle, fighting for extra yardage, and he gets nailed at the 40-yard line. Hit by Curtis Jordan. Craig had a great year last year. He became the first ever to gain 1,000 yards rushing and receiving. And this year, he's way off last year's pace, and part of the reason is he has not been completely healthy.
Playing with a very sore hip, and it has bothered him. He's way off last year's pace, but it's hard to expect him to do that again. Passing situation for Montana. He puts Clark out to the left. Rice goes out to the right, where he picks up Darrell Green. That's a little bit of a mismatch in terms of size.
But not in speed. 3rd and 7 from the 40. And Montana, under heavy pressure, scrambles, pump fakes, and gets nailed at the 38 and loses the football at the 38-yard line. And Rich Malott recovers it. And let's see about Montana.
I think he is all right, but you saw something there. Montana forced out of the pocket to his left. When he was hurt in the opening game against Tampa Bay, he wasn't hit. He tried to throw the ball against Tampa Bay, and he did throw the ball from this position right there. And that's when he hurt his back against Tampa Bay. That caused the surgery. Montana, whether subconsciously or not, pulled that ball down, did not throw the football, got hit, coughed it up, but I'm sure he's all right. He took the hit well. He got off the field all right. Takes it, of course, from Dexter Manley, the man who said, "I'll ring your clock if I get a chance." But Dexter talks a lot, and Joe expects that. He expects to play like a healthy football player, and that's what he is.
He rang it from the rear. And Washington at the 32-yard line. The pass complete to Gary Clark, and Clark takes it out to the 40-yard line. And the rookie cornerback Griffin makes the tackle. It had to be a very anxious moment for every 49er fan to watch Montana, and he appears to be fine, roll to his left and even think about throwing back to his right.
Calling Dr. Arthur White, I think, the orthopedic surgeon, said, "You did well." Or Jennifer, "Everything's all right. Don't worry about a thing." He took a tremendous shot right in the back, and he is all right.
As you see, Ronnie Lott is back after missing a couple of weeks, a hairline fracture of the tibia. Second down and a long 3 from the 40 with no score. And Schroeder hits Clark for a first down as he is run out of bounds into the Washington bench at the 46-yard line. And again, it's Don Griffin. So that's a matchup to watch tonight. Clark against the rookie Griffin out of Middle Tennessee State. Again, the 49ers going with the 2 rookie corners in that revamped secondary. Again, they're missing Eric Wright. He has a bad groin and is probably gone for the season. And as you know, Dwight Hicks no longer plays with San Francisco. He's in Indianapolis.
Jeff Fuller's hurt. It's a team full of injuries, these 49ers. But Gary Clark having a great season, as most of the teams are respecting the man at the top of your screen, Art Monk.
10 from the 46. Big hole through the middle. Rogers running over people to the 35.
That's what happens when you start throwing the ball well. You start to play rush the passer, and you get openings like this. R.C. Thielman, Mark May blowing away the defense. Huge hole for George Rogers. He didn't know what to think of it, so he just put the head down and bulled down for the first down near the 35-yard line. But when you start completing passes, that defensive line has to start thinking, we've got to get to the passer, and that's when it's easy to run.
First and 10, Washington at the San Francisco 35-yard line. Schroeder, everybody in the pattern, including Rogers, and he goes deep for Clark. Too deep. Crowd wanted a flag.
A little close on that defense down there, but again, Griffin, the rookie from Middle Tennessee State. Clark got a step on him, but he's been getting a step on the best in the league this year. And Schroeder just had it beyond his outstretched fingertips. But again, Schroeder's so cool in there. He could have drilled that in there for 6, as Gary Clark was able to get that individual coverage. Schroeder read it beautifully. The offensive set, of course, designed by the man you just saw, Joe Gibbs, one of the best in the business.
Second and 10 at the 35. We've played 4.5 minutes with no score. Bryant wrapped up and driven back by Dwayne Board, number 76. Kelvin Bryant missed a lot of time after a good beginning. Nice opening day effort against Philadelphia, but then he got hurt. Was out for several weeks with Rogers filling the bill, and now Kelvin is back to give them a potent 1-2 attack out of the backfield.
Remarkable record. What do they tell us? He's never had less than a 1,000-yard season. 3 years at North Carolina, 3 years in the USFL. He has great speed, surprising speed.
The one thing he can do that Rogers doesn't is catch the football. Last week, he caught a touchdown pass against Green Bay, and he's in there now on 3rd and long. And with Warren in motion, good protection for Schroeder. Clark is open, and he gets tackled at the 17-yard line. Griffin couldn't stay with him, and finally Tom Holmoe had to come over to help out, and Holmoe makes the tackle. But it's going to be a long night for Griffin.
It's going to be a nightmarish night unless they start to help him. That shouldn't take long. 29 is Griffin, the rookie. Clark beat him off the line of scrimmage, as Griffin, who probably should have taken a pop at him, maybe wanted to and just missed, because Clark slid inside, moved away from him, and he did not have inside help at all. And more importantly, great protection for Schroeder. There has been all through the first quarter thus far.
Clark's already caught 3. That one for 19, first and 10 at the 17. And Schroeder looking that way again, and then goes to Monk. And Monk breaks a tackle at the 14, and Monk is out of bounds at the 1.
Schroeder saying that much to head coach Joe Gibbs. But again, very cool on Schroeder, and you can be very cool when you're getting the kind of protection he's getting from that offensive line. He looked downfield. The deep man, Clark, was not there. There's a quick look. He's not there. Actually, it was Didier he looked to, and then knew he had the man out on the left side, and it's Art Monk, and he spins away and gets down just inside the 1-yard line, getting away from another rookie back there, Tim McKyer.
First and goal from inside the 1 as Schroeder asks for quiet. And they have Warren as the blocking back, and he leads the way, and Rodgers does not get there. Second down.
Rodgers, of course, Heisman Award winner, South Carolina. The Redskins were able to get him a year ago from New Orleans. And Bum Phillips had acquired Earl Campbell, who he had coached at Houston, and he traded George Rogers. Bobby Beathard wheeling and dealing once again, as only he can do. The general manager of the Redskins came up with a beauty in George Rogers, just when Wiggins was ending his career.
On second and goal, Rodgers again in there for the score. Behind Grimm and Bostic. And Rodgers, who last week saw a streak snap, he had scored a touchdown in 12 consecutive games. He got blanked in Green Bay. He begins another streak here with 7:53 to play in the period.
Rodgers moving behind the big folks over the left side. Jacoby there, Bostic, Grimm. And so the 49ers, who have been winning by turnovers, turned it over themselves, and the Redskins made the most out of it.
Max Sendejas, who's anything but automatic. He's missed 4 extra points in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, he's exciting. They cheer the conversion here. As well they should.
And so they capitalize on Montana's fumble. Go down the field, and the Skins lead 7-0. Who is nearing the 1,000-yard mark this season, and he'll be up and over that probably by next week. His 14th rushing touchdown of the year. San Francisco to receive, and dropping back for the 49ers, Derek Crawford, number 83, and number 24 for San Francisco is Derek Harmon.
Wow.
Cox booms it through.
He is so much fun. Steve Cox, they'll let him try a 70-yard field goal. He's their long field goal kicker, but he kicked that high and out of the end zone.
So now Montana, none the worse for wear after getting hit and fumbling and now coming back. And Montana, that 69.2% completion percentage for the 2 games, similar to Montana's career in the sense you all know about the 49ers and the high percentage passing game. And Joe, through the years, normally up around the 2/3 figures in completing passes, always up in the mid-60s. John Frank is the second tight end there, setting up on a wing, and Cribbs gets it out to the 25-yard line, and he is stopped there by Todd Bowles. It'll be 2nd and 5, and now Schroeder is on the phone with the coaches upstairs. And Schroeder, who got sacked twice on their first drive, and then Washington forced to punt, leading the team down the field, completing 3 passes to Clark and the other 2 to Monk.
Talk about high percentage or low percentage of interceptions. Schroeder has had a remarkable season. He's only thrown up 7.
2nd and 5. Montana going underneath for Craig, fighting for the first down, but he does not get it. He's out of bounds at the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1. Roger Craig, who did a lot of blocking at Nebraska, and he played under others who got a lot more notoriety, like Mike Rozier. But now, coming into his own, especially in the Super Bowl against Miami, that's when he really came into prominence. 3rd and 1. And Montana to throw for Cribbs, and Cribbs just does get the first down as he takes it out to the 31.
Montana was thinking big. He had Rice on a fly looked up, he wasn't there, and knew he had Cribbs out in the flat. He reads it so quickly, fires it out to Cribbs, who is an excellent receiver out of the backfield. In 1983, at 57 receptions up at Buffalo. Now, here comes the pressure. A little play action by Montana, flooding backs to the left. It should have been single coverage. He read it very quickly. You saw him look downfield to Rice. He knew right away where Cribbs was. They get the completion and the first down.
From the 31-yard line, it's Cribbs again trying to pick his way through, and he takes it out to the 35. You know, the irony here, Frank, one of the reasons they let Tyler go, and by no means the only reason, but Tyler was a fumbler. There was no question about it. And the downside of Wendell was he coughed the ball up so much, and yet of all of the backs in the NFL who carried more than 500 times in their career, who would lead in fumble frequency? Cribbs.
Most of the little guys who play 110%, they're always trying to get another yard out of it, and that's what Tyler was, and that's what Cribbs is.
2nd and 6, and it's Rice at the 50-yard line, and he takes it to the 45, and Darrell Green, who won the NFL fastest man contest, is matched up with him. And every time Rice catches the ball, he's a threat to break it all away.
And Green playing right on top of him, trying to get a hit if he goes to the outside. He knows he has a little help to the inside. Rice is there. He has great speed. He would never run away from Darrell Green, who was a world-class sprinter at Texas A&I 5 years ago. But they get the completion, get the first down, and again, Rice is beating the best they have back there, Darrell Green.
Cribbs in motion from the 45 on 1st and 10, and Montana throws to Clark over the middle. Clark inside the 30, and run out of bounds at the 26-yard line by Barry Wilburn. So Montana shaking off the hit and coming out and leading the 49ers down the field for another first down to the 26 and looking pretty sharp.
Looks like he never missed a play. I had a long talk with him last night. He said he was a little apprehensive the first few plays of the game against St. Louis a week ago. Not about being hurt or anything like that, but whether he could come back out after the long layoff and get the read that he wanted. But there's no question he's got that.
1st and 10 from the 26. And Montana with a flag down, the first flag of the game, and Rice makes the catch at the 5-yard line and stays in bounds. Jordan makes the tackle, but the clock stopping for our first penalty. Bob McElwee is the ref, and it goes against the Niners. Meanwhile, Rice a little shaken up.
Not good. He grabbed the left knee, looked over to the bench, and said, "I want out of here."
Illegal formation, offense, number 86, covering number 87, ineligible.
Frank covering Clark.
That was just a case of the formation being wrong. Somebody getting it fouled up a little bit. Dwight Clark in the wrong position. They bring in now Mike Wilson, number 85, replacing Jerry Rice, who went to the bench. And Mike Wilson has only 9 receptions on the year, but back in 1983, in a game the 49ers lost in the NFC Championship, he had 8 receptions, 2 touchdowns to almost pull that game out along with Montana.
A 22-yard gain is negated. It's 1st and 15, and Cribbs finds no room at all. Runs into the middle of the pack, and Butts makes the tackle, and Rice is up and just about ready to come back into the game. In fact, here he comes.
49er fans breathing a sigh of relief. Jerry Rice having a sensational season. Ended tonight, 49 receptions, over a 21-yard average, 12 touchdowns. That is truly remarkable for a player that, remember Al, at the beginning of last season, they said he may never make it, bad hands.
Dropped a lot of balls early on, but came on very strong at the end. And Walsh said before he's dropped only 1 pass this season he should have caught, just 1. On 2nd and 14, Montana to Cribbs, and Cribbs takes it down to the 16-yard line, and that sets up a 3rd and short as Walton and Jordan, the 2 safeties, make the tackle.
Tough when you put Rice one way, Clark over there with him, and you can take a man like Cribbs, who I mentioned a moment ago, had 57 receptions in his last season in the NFL with Buffalo. They put him out on the left side. You're going to naturally single cover him, and Montana looked up, had single coverage, hits it, misses the first down by a yard.
3:48 to play, first period, 7-0 Washington. 3rd and 1 at the 17. Craig does not get it. So Walsh with his first decision as Marcus Cook, 74, makes the tackle. And Morosky is coming in to hold, and here comes the field goal unit with Wershing to kick.
He not only didn't make it, I think they held him short. He lost about a yard, so it's going to be 4th and 2, and that made an easy decision for Waltz. However, he brings out Ray Wershing, who needs 3 to reach 1,000 points, but he's having a tough year. He's had misses from 37, 44. They were even a couple of weeks ago looking at new kickers.
So Ray Wershing attempting to become the 12th man in NFL history with 1,000 points. Morosky will hold it at the 26, so a 36-yard attempt for Wershing, and Wershing's kick is no good. He hooked it. Snap was a little high by Randy Cross. And the 49ers stopped on 3rd and 1 and stopped on 4th and 2, and Washington gets it back with a 7-0 advantage.
Raiders in their drive for the playoffs as they take on their division rivals, the San Diego Chargers. It's an ABC NFL special Thursday night.
Al Michaels and Frank Gifford, RFK Stadium, Washington, D.C., and Washington with the ball and a 7-0 lead. 1st and 10 Redskins at the 20. Warren goes in motion, and the drive begins with Rodgers, who ended the last drive with a touchdown, taking it out to the 24-yard line, 2nd and 6. Now for the 49ers defensively, Frank, Clark caught 3 passes on the last drive and Monk 2, and they picked on the rookie corner Griffin, and we'll have to see how San Francisco, as you look at Griffin there, the rookie out of Middle Tennessee State, begins to defend a tough passing attack.
The problem in helping the cornerbacks, Griffin, who's a rookie on one side, Mackay, a rookie on the other side, is that they can send Didier, the tight end, deep. He's averaging over 19 yards of reception. So what do? You can't protect against everybody.
And on 2nd and 6, they keep it on the ground again, and Rodgers gets bottled up near the line of scrimmage. Larry Roberts, number 91, he's a rookie out of Alabama, making the tackle.
That body you have seen hurtling into that pile from the secondary is Ronnie Lott, one of the great defensive backs in this game, number 42, and he is coming back after missing a couple of games with a hairline fracture just below the knee. Leads the NFL in interceptions with 8, and he's missed 2 games.
Ricky Sanders now comes into the game, and Kelvin Bryant in there also. And with Clark going in motion, Schroeder looks toward Clark and then throws over Clark and intended for Didier, and incomplete. So Clark was cutting from the outside in, and Didier was swinging across the field, and Didier couldn't hold it.
That's what they can do with Didier. They did it a week ago when they won in overtime. They used him deep to set up the winning touchdown or the tying touchdown, and then ultimately they won on a Gary Clark reception in overtime. But Didier is huge. He's 6'5" and 240, and he can get deep like a wide receiver.
Now Steve Cox with a wobbly kick and fielded at the 40-yard line, and a fair catch is made by Griffin. So we have a minute 15 to go in a fast-moving first period in Washington. Skins 7, 49ers nothing. That's our producer, Ken Wolf. And next to him, Chet Forty.
Come on, Brenner!
And John Riggins. The world according to Riggo. The Hawks, name they received a couple of years ago, and they're on the way to the Super Bowl, that offensive line.
First down from the 41-yard line as Montana goes deep, looking for Rice, and it is picked off at the 11-yard line by Darrell Green. And last week, Montana so successful, 3 bombs to Rice, but tonight you're going up against Darrell Green, and he's a tough man to get behind. Real tough.
He has that great speed, and he was right there. Montana might have been better advised to go against Rice, who is working on the other side, and he appeared to be open. Montana has never been a deep passer. He has to release a deep pass very early, or it's going to be underthrown, as this was. And Darrell Green will go up even at 5'8" and take it away from a lot of people. One of the few bad reads tonight on Montana, because Rice on the other side was well behind his defensive back.
Now 1st and 10, Washington from the 13-yard line. And Schroeder to put it up. Going for Monk. Incomplete. Monk covered very well. That time Griffin was on Monk. And Clark was covered on the other side by McIyer. Great coverage here.
Well, he's had a lot of practice in the first quarter. They've been working on him. They've been coming with Gary Clark. Gary Clark has really worked him much better to the inside. They tried to get deep with Art Monk, and Griffin in full stride was right there. Good defensive play by the rookie from Middle Tennessee State, who I know every time they get in a passing situation and they put Gary or Art Monk out there, the butterflies start to churn because they have really been pinpointing in his direction.
2nd and 10, and now they have flip-flopped because McIyer works on Clark and Griffin stays with Monk. And Bryant is in the game as the sole running back. He goes into the pattern, and the pass is caught out at the 20-yard line by Kelvin Bryant. He's a couple of yards shy of the first down as we are under a minute now to play in the first period. And there is Green, who is shaken up. He made the last interception and getting some attention on the Redskin bench.
He came down on the football after he made the interception. He could have had the wind knocked out of him. We'll try and get a report, but unless the 49ers get some kind of a pass rush on Schroeder, get at least a hurry on him, these numbers are going to look like a pinball machine tonight. He has had all the time in the world. If he looks at his primary receiver, he's not there. He's been able to check off on every occasion.
3rd and 3, and that's Bryant, top of the screen, wide right. And going deep again for Monk, and great coverage by Griffin again. And he picks it off, and it's still alive, and he's down at the 43-yard line. And Carlton Williamson that time on the safety blitz forced Schroeder to throw in a hurry. And a great defensive move already by the Niners. Griffin had been beaten by Clark. They put him on Monk, and he's covered Monk like a blanket twice and gets the interception.
27, bottom of your screen. This is what I mentioned a moment ago. It changes things dramatically for a quarterback when he has to release the ball. Cannot check off the intended receiver. He couldn't get off of Monk. It was too late. He tried to get it in, and Griffin comes down with the football, and the 49ers get a turnover. One of the best for a lot of years. He was that when he was the offensive coordinator with Cincinnati, went out and spent a couple of years at Stanford, and now 6th year, 8th year with the 49ers. Brilliant, as is his counterpart, Joe Gibbs.
1st and 10, San Francisco from the 42, and Craig escapes and gets into Redskin territory, getting to the 40-yard line. Great run by Craig. He had some blocking, but he had to pick and thread his way through, and turns it into a nice gain in the waning seconds of the first period. 37 seconds to go in the period.
This is what they have been waiting for a long time to see from Roger Craig, who has had a very sore hip. Gets the lead block out in front of him. That's R.C. Thielman. And you don't necessarily have to get a great block. Thielman didn't knock anyone down, didn't take the man out, but he gave Craig, who can cut on a blocker with the best of them, a little running room, and he gets it inside the 40 of the Redskins.
1st and 10 from the 39 as Joe Montana flips one out to Russ Francis, and the tight end gets bumped out of bounds, and that stops the clock at 31 seconds. By the way, that run by Roger Craig of 19 yards equaled the longest gain from scrimmage on a running play by the 49ers this season, and there is Craig. And the 49ers are the only team in the NFL, the only team of the 28 not to have a 20-yard gain on the ground, and that's a pretty good statement about the problems they've had rushing the football. Ball loose, but let's see about the call by McElwee. Holding San Francisco.
Holding, number 68, offense, still 2nd down.
That's John Ayers, the 10-year left guard out of West Texas State. Darrell Green, meanwhile, has a bruised right shoulder incurred on that interception, and they have taken him back for x-rays.
That would be a major loss to that defensive unit. He's the best of those defensive backs there.
And they have to bring Tim Morrison into the game, number 41, to replace him, a rookie from North Carolina. That's John Frank in motion. 2nd and 12. Montana over the middle. Caught by Clark and taken down to the 20-yard line.
And you can't call it a pick, but it's pretty close to it as they take the inside man. And in that case, it was Jerry Rice. He put a full drive on, and watch number 87 break behind Rice. And there's no place for Wilburn to go. You could call it a pick if you want to do. It pays off for the 49ers. Big gainer down to the 20-yard line. But good teamwork between Rice and making a lot of room for Dwight Clark. And as the quarter ends, the 49ers get a first down at the 20-yard line.
We start the second quarter, 7-0 Washington, but San Francisco 1st and 10 at the Redskin 20-yard line, and Roger Craig takes it down to the 16-yard line for a pickup of 4. It'll be 2nd down 6.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Nissan, who invites you to test drive the new Go Anywhere Nissan Pathfinder at your Nissan dealer now. Roger Craig getting 4 over on the right side, but you just have to know that Bill Walsh and his offensive assistants, and they're good ones, Dennis Green and Mike Holmgreen, are picking out Tim Morrison, the rookie who has replaced Darrell Green. Morrison, number 41.
And Morrison is on Rice on 2nd down and 6, and Montana throws for Clark in the end zone and incomplete. Clark got tied up with Wilburn. There was a little contact, and then Dwight sprung out to the outside, and Montana couldn't get it there. 3rd and 6.
Good read by Montana. He saw the double coverage, and they were trying to help Tim Morrison over the other side. They had 2 men covering Rice on the other side, and they left Wilburn against Clark, and Clark made a good move to the inside. Now that's good coverage by Wilburn. When you're down close to the goal line, you've got to go with every move, even though you get turned around, and that was good coverage. He was there, although Montana could have, with the perfect pass, got it in there.
3rd and 6, and Clark is split left, and Rice goes to the right. And Montana dumps it over the middle, intended for Craig, and incomplete. And so the field goal unit coming in again. Wersching has already missed 1.
They were in sync, and Roger Craig just didn't handle it. Montana read the blitz. Craig had read it, ran the tight circle, which is characteristic of a Bill Walsh passing offense. When the blitz is on and the Redskins had it on, Craig just didn't hold on.
Meanwhile, Wersching again trying to become the 12th in league history with 1,000 points. Morosky to hold. The last time the snap was a little high, but then Wersching hooked it. This one from the 24, a 34-yard attempt. Good snap, good hold, and Ray Wersching is up and over 1,000. He joins that elite dozen on a 34-yard field goal, and Washington's lead is now 4. Here's your dirty dozen now, 1 through 6 on the left side, and then Wersching on the bottom of the right-hand side. Blanda scored 9 touchdowns, 9 rushing touchdowns in a 26-year career, and the rest of the points all through kicks. Now, all of those fellas kicked. Capoletti, who is number 8, was also a receiver, and Lou Groza, of course, was a tackle. And everybody else a pure kicker in the 1,000-point club. As the kick comes down and Jenkins takes it at the 2-yard line, he comes out past the 20 and is dropped at about the 29.
Jenkins banged that ball down there because there was a huge opening. They had opened a tremendous gap as we look at the numbers from the first quarter. Rapidly moving first quarter as both of the offensive coaches, and they are that. Walsh on one side, Gibbs on the other. It's almost like watching 2 coaches play chess. Of course, they're getting their input from their different coordinators, offense and defense, but they are the masters. Fun game. Hope you're enjoying it.
7-3 Washington. First down. Skins at the 29-yard line. Clark in motion, and McIyer stays with him in the secondary. Schroeder throwing for Clark, and incomplete. Williamson came over to help out on the play defensively. 2nd and 10. Carlton Williamson, 6th-year man out of Pittsburgh. So much of the success of the 49ers in the early 80s, that great secondary. They drafted Williamson, and they had Hicks, of course, and Lott and Wright, and they really did a job.
Remember that backfield, Super Bowl 19? Eric Wright was there, Dwight Hicks, 3 out of the 4 going to the Pro Bowl, and the other one is an alternate. And now 2 of them are missing. Wright, injured reserve. Dwight Hicks gone, playing for Indianapolis.
2nd and 10 from the 29. Rodgers. First down. 11-yard gain, and the block that time thrown by Clint Didier.
Didier means so much to this football team. The play before this, he was split wide as a flanker. He is designated as the H-back, the move back, whatever you want to call him, number 86. He's the big tight end. He's the man that they can send deep. A moment ago, the 49ers lined up defensively with Keena Turner, a linebacker, out trying to cover him. Keena's good, but he'll have a hard time staying with Didier when he gets out into single coverage on him on the outside. He had a great block there for Rodgers.
1st and 10 from the 40. Rodgers again. And Rodgers takes it out to the 49. And Rodgers has not been running particularly well the last 3 weeks, and he's blamed himself. He said, I'm just not breaking tackles. I'm just not moving through the holes, but he is tonight.
Good move there. He broke it back into the inside. Remember Otis Sistrunk a few years ago?
Remember his barber?
Alex Karras labeled him the man from Mars University.
Second and 2. Warren in motion. Rodgers again, and they let George do it for another first down as he takes it into San Francisco territory to the 49er 47.
This is what they would like to do better and more often. Coming into tonight, the Redskins were 18th in yards rushing in the National Football League. Al touched on it. They've not been running well. Rodgers himself has said, I've been missing the cuts. I've not been running well. But if they can move the ball on the ground, Joe Gibbs knows, like every other offensive coach, then it makes the passing game so much more deadly.
First down, Redskins at the San Francisco 47. Bryant is now in the game. And Schroeder, incomplete, intended for Art Monk, who was covered that time by McKyer.
Good coverage by McKyer. He was right with Monk all the way. Read the square out pattern, the little roll by Schroeder, probably picked up in a film study, or the tape study now that they're using. And McKyer, the rookie from Texas at Arlington, was right there. Good coverage. And they had good coverage on the off man that Schroeder would have gone to. That would have been Clint Didier. Good coverage by Williamson on Didier.
2nd and 10. Clark and Monk are sent to the same side, to the left. And now Monk comes in motion the other way. And the pass is incomplete on a mix-up. Pressure that time on Schroeder, but Schroeder thinking the pattern's going one way and it went the other.
Michael Walder was in there right in Schroeder's face, but the blitz was on. Keena Turner was also coming, and there was a lot of pressure, and you become very human when you get the hot breath of a charging defensive lineman right in your face.
Great graphic there. Led Carolina League in strikeouts. That Schroeder, you know, he was a baseball player, and of course if he was a pitcher that would be terrific. But when you're a hitter, you know why you become a football player.
Was it Mark Gooden down there pitching to him?
Dwight Gooden was in the Carolina League. 3rd and 10 at the 47. Schroeder throws on the run and incomplete. Threw it behind Clark, who would have been well shy of the first down anyway.
Pressure once again. It changes things dramatically. Schroeder chased out of the pocket. That time, for the first time, showing a little loss of his cool. That's twice in a row now he's been chased from that pocket. Had a man open that he could have got the completion to out of the backfield, but he threw it away.
Now Steve Cox, the versatile one, kicking to Don Griffin, who stands back at his 10. Cox is the punter, the long field goal kicker, and the kickoff man. High, short kick, fair catch made at the 21-yard line. 11:30 to go in the half after only a 27-yard punt. Washington leads 7-3.
Call. Tony Zendejas bounces a kickoff to one Charger, who laterals to another Charger, who then bounces a forward pass to a third Charger. Now you make the call. Is this a complete pass, an incomplete pass, or a penalty? What call did you make? It is illegal to attempt a forward pass on a kickoff play. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the pass.
Jackson is our analyst in college football down on the sidelines tonight. We ought to give him an IFB and a mic, Frank.
Yeah, get a little coverage down there.
They're doing a great job with Keith on the telecast this year, and Oklahoma, Nebraska will be our presentation for you this Saturday.
One of our fine production, and Bill Monahan down there with him. And a lot of ski slope hours with him.
49ers with Francis in motion from the 22. 1st and 10. And Montana going deep for Rice. And Rice makes the catch at the 33-yard line. He beats Tim Morrison. And there's a penalty marker down. There's a marker down in the backfield, in the offensive backfield.
Had to be holding where that flag goes down. No real cause for it, unless somebody was totally beat at the line of scrimmage, because, as I mentioned earlier, Montana has got to release that ball very early on deep patterns. He's got a good strong arm, but he's not known as one of your great long passes.
Holding, number 68, offense.
That's Ayers again.
Still first down.
That's Ayers again. Second penalty.
Ayers on the left side. Extraordinary catch when you keep in mind, as we mentioned earlier, a year ago they wondered about Rice's hands. They were questioning some of the drop balls early in the season. Of course, he settled that all later in the season. Now, I can tell you, as a former wide receiver, how tough it is to hold on to that ball. Dead stride, full speed. You know you're going to fall right on it. Great reception, even though they call it back.
1st and 20 from the 11 with Rice going in motion. And Montana gets sacked at the 4. Dave Butts, number 65, who is the oldest defensive player in the league at age 36. He has not had a sack since the first game of the season. He had 2 in the opener against Philadelphia, has not had one since.
14th year. His role is not to pressure the quarterback. His role is to control that line of scrimmage from tackle to tackle. Every now and then he gets lucky, flops in there and gets the sack, but he is tough against the run. He plays over on the left side where you need strength against the run, because most teams are right-handed. That time, beating his man, Randy Cross, gets the sack, and now the 49ers are all the way back inside their own 4.
2nd and 27. Pressure from Manley. The flip out to Craig. 10, 20, and out to the 23-yard line, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 9. Malott and Bowles in on the stop.
Good athletics by Montana. Again, he was pressured in the end zone. Had to go up on his tiptoes, get the ball over the pressure, and he got it out to Craig, who at least will now give Montana a little bit of breathing room. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage +1. So Montana has a 3rd and 9 to deal with.
At the 23-yard line. To the right, and Cribbs is out to the left. And Montana under pressure, sacked at the 15-yard line. Montana going down and protecting himself and covering up, knowing there were 3 skins in there. Mann and Butts will probably officially each share half a sack.
I don't think it was apprehension at all. Joe is one of the best reading quarterbacks in the game. He knew the pressure was on. He knew whoever he was trying to get the ball to was not going to break free. He knew he was in deep trouble. He could smell it on the left, smell it on the right, and he could see it in the front, as the Redskins are really putting the pressure on.
4th and 15, and Max Runiger to punt. Skins trying to set up a return. Pretty deep kick, fielded at the 40 by Jenkins. Back out to the 47-yard line. 9:20 remaining in the first half.
Good punt. Pressure punt by Runiger. Have an injured 49er as we look at the travels that are beginning this week.
Yep, Thursday we'll have a special Thursday edition for you. The Raiders very much back in the playoff picture, taking on the San Diego Chargers. with their new head coach, Al Saunders, 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's 8 Eastern time and 5 o'clock on the Pacific Coast Thursday.
How about Jim Plunkett yesterday? You just love it. The guy has more lives than a cat. Came off the bench. He's replaced Mark Wilson. Gets it done with 3 touchdowns yesterday. A couple to Dokie Williams. Todd Christensen, Marcus Allen back on form. They're going to be right there.
We have not yet identified the injured 49er, and now it is, we believe,
Mike
Wilson it is.
Mike Wilson, I mentioned, in the '83 NFC Championship game, came off the bench and had a sensational game against the Washington Redskins. The 49ers were down by 21 points going into the fourth quarter, and he caught 2 touchdown passes, 8 overall. And let's take a look at it again. In his 6th year out of Washington State. And when you're on those special teams, anything can happen, and that's what did happen. Took a shot right in the head from another helmet, and when you see it in slow motion, you don't really understand how wild that collision is. Everyone traveling at full speed. It is just physics, weight, mass, and all of that. And now Mike Wilson is being looked at by the medical staff.
That other helmet belonged to Marcus Cook, number 74. So 9:20 remaining in the first half, 7-3 Washington, and a week from tonight we'll be in the Orange Bowl in Miami, and the New York Jets, 10-1, come in with their 9-game winning streak to take on the Dolphins.
I'm not patronizing, but I'm really proud of Joe Walton. He changed that football team around totally to fit his own image, and he has got them playing great. They've been losing people right and left. They're 10-1. Just an incredible coaching job that he has done. The players come off the bench and they play better than the players who were out there before them. For instance, Johnny Hector coming off the bench, replacing Freeman McNeil. I understand Gastineau now is injured, and so they're going to have to do it all again. Marty Lyons is hurt, Klecko's hurt, but somehow they're getting it done. They're getting it done, according to Joe, with people that genuinely want to play the game, and that's the people that he started keeping 3 years ago when he totally rebuilt that team.
Well, we're talking about injuries, and under this circumstance, and this is a sight we've seen all too often this year, though obviously, as you can see in the shots we've had of Wilson, he has feeling in his hands and his legs, but he remains on the turf in a season that has really, more than any other, keynoted a major problem in the National Football League, and something that's going to have to be, in some measure, addressed in the very near future. The incredible amount of injuries, and serious injuries, that have taken place this year.
They're getting bigger, they're getting faster, they're better conditioned, they work year-round on it. And when you get the kinds of collisions that we just saw a moment ago, a couple of others that we've had thus far this season, you're going to have the serious injury. And you're right, and they do continue to look at it. They look at it every year. They keep very good statistics on the numbers of injuries, the type of injuries, and they try to do things about it. And they try to do things like protecting the quarterback. Everyone says, well, why do you have a rule in the grasp? The kind of a rule that we saw a week ago that negated a touchdown by Bernie Kosar, a pass that he had completed, when they ruled that he was in the grasp. And, of course, the replay showed that it was nothing like that. But what they're trying to do is protect the players from injury. How you protect it on special teams, I don't know. You saw that collision a moment ago, and it was brutal.
On special teams, I don't know either, but I know one thing: they're going to have to address the chop block, which is something that a lot of people don't see, and it happens in the trenches and in the pit, and it's not the type of thing that really lends itself to the replay. And they're going to have Mike Wilson taken off the field on a stretcher, but the chop block is the type of thing, Frank, that has to be addressed.
They do every year. It's this game is by nature not so violent as it is rough. You hear a lot of talk. Dexter Manley talks for the Washington Redskins. He's a big talker. He talked about, what was it, cleaning Montana's clock or ringing his clock coming in. Dexter Manley is a great football player, and you don't feel that he would do that if he had the chance. Montana laughed about it when I talked to him yesterday. But again, it's just that the players are bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. They work year-round on conditioning, and consequently, what happens out there is much more violent in the collision, not in the attitude. And when you have big players like a 6'3", 215-pound Mike Wilson colliding head-on with somebody that goes, say, 230 or 240 pounds, or something has got to give.
So
there it is. Hamilton just colliding head-on with Mike Wilson. Their helmets colliding. You're looking at it in slow motion.
Potential starters for the 49ers. Carter tonight, and then the others all on IR. Fuller, who's the safety linebacker. Hardy, the very fine end. Todd Shell out of Brigham Young, the linebacker who was hurt. And Wright with that groin injury severe enough to keep him out probably the balance of the year.
That country is saying, my son will never get involved in this game. But there are extraordinarily few serious injuries in this game compared to the numbers of players involved, the numbers of games involved, and I hope that is always something that is kept in mind, because there are so many values that come out of this game of football that we'd hate to see that have any kind of an impact on a youngster being able to take advantage of the good that this game can produce. And as you can see, they had put some sort of a traction splint on the neck of Mike Wilson. We will try to get a definitive report as quickly as we can from the locker room.
So after this sobering interlude, away we go again with 9:20 to play in the first half. 7-3 Washington, and the Redskins at their own 47-yard line, 1st and 10. Rodgers can't turn the corner, and he's run out of bounds near the line of scrimmage by Ricky Ellison, 50, and Carlton Williamson, 27.
Play that's worked earlier in the evening with Didier leading on the quick sweep to the left. That time played well by Carlton Williamson. He strung it out, and Rodgers just did get back to the line of scrimmage.
Second and 9 from the 48. Clark split left, and he's covered again by Griffin, and now McKyer returns to go one-on-one with Monk on the right side. Bryant to the 49er 48, stopped by McKyer. Interesting little defensive move here, Frank, in the sense that they had on that first drive McKyer against Monk, and then they moved Griffin over to Monk, and he did a great job, and now they go back to the way they originally were.
It's all set up by formation. It depends on whether Clark is on the weak side or the strong side, and depending upon whether they put Monk and Clark on the same side, this is the game that is played on every offensive play. You try to maneuver defensive backs into individual man-for-man coverage, and you hope your quarterback can read it, and these are two good quarterbacks who are reading it.
3rd and 5.
Here it comes.
Schroeder throwing for Monk, and down he goes at the 47. Well shy of the first down. Griffin rode him down.
What a good play by Griffin. And you get one-on-one with Art Monk, who is a great receiver, but he was a great running back as well as receiver back in his years at Syracuse. And as I mentioned earlier, these quarterbacks read it so well. Schroeder read it perfectly, got it to Monk. Ordinarily, you could count on Monk one-on-one at least getting the first down out of that. Good defensive play by Griffin.
And now Griffin goes back to receive, standing at the 10. Cox to kick. High, booming kick into the end zone. And the San Francisco takes over at its own 20-yard line with 7 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the first half in Washington on a very pleasant night. Dry, no threat of rain, temperature in the high 40s.
So much on the line. Washington 8-2. They, of course, watched the Giants. That game televised here in the D.C. area where Washington reigns supreme. And the Giants now at 9-2 after their win over Minnesota, hovering in the background as they always are, either in the background or out in front of the Dallas Cowboys at 7-4. And San Francisco 6-3-1. They have a percentage lead over the Rams.
First down from the 20-yard line as Cribbs makes the catch, has the first down, and Montana, who on his prior pass completion eclipsed the 20,000-yard mark in career passing, and there he is. He's 41st in the history of the league. Adds to that figure here with a flip to Cribbs.
Second rated all time, just a percentage and a half point behind Dan Marino, who became eligible this year to be included in the elite. As they grade them, they have to throw a certain number of passes. And Montana has been up there with a remarkable record.
What's the NFL mark? 47,003. Fran Tarkenton. And Montana takes a timeout, and that's the first spent by the 49ers. So Joe doesn't like what he sees, takes the timeout, and we have 7.5 to go in the first half. 7-3 Skins. RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. Al Michaels and Frank Gifford with you. The 49ers against the Washington Redskins. Skins lead 7-3, and San Francisco has the ball after a timeout at its own 36-yard line, 1st and 10. And Montana with the split backs, Cribbs 28 and Craig 33. For Rice at the Washington 45 and a first down. Walton and Morrison, 2 rookies providing the coverage. Again, Green is out of the game, the good cornerback, 28. So Rice will have an easier time of it. 19-yard gain.
Good protection that time for Montana. The Redskins had been pressuring him. That time he took a deep drop. Rice with good speed. You have to respect him deep. And Tim Morrison, the rookie from North Carolina, filling in for Darrell Green, was giving him ever so much respect.
1st and 10 at the 45. Pressure that time, and he dumps it off, and it's incomplete. The pressure that time coming mainly from Olkowitz, who was blitzing on the play. 49ers have been doing a pretty good job. Here's Olkowitz, who's had 3 big weeks in a row. Interception, fumble recovery last week against Green Bay. 49ers, though, doing a pretty good job on Dexter Manley thus far. Keeping him away. There he is. We have to give Manley a lesson in cliche mongering. He said he was going to ring his clock. You ring a guy's bell or you clean his clock. You don't ring his clock.
You tell him, I won't.
You come up here and ring our clock. 2nd and 10. And it's Craig for a gain of a couple as Malott makes the tackle.
And it leaves Montana with the 3rd and long, and now the chess game plays. The Redskins bring out Daniels. They bring in Coffey for the 5th defensive back. They bring in Olkowitz, and they bring in Monty Coleman. And that's how they set up defensively. But they can come with the blitz off that. Monty Coleman, good blitzer. And the man to watch will be at the bottom of your screen. He wears number 72. He's Dexter Manley. He's working against Bruce Colley as Montana sets up in the pass situation.
3rd and 8. Montana going off balance and underthrowing and incomplete. And that time it was Manley who did get through, and he forced the errant pass.
Pressure will do it every time, and he just almost got to Montana. Came wide from the outside, and it made it very difficult for Bruce Colley, who had set up inside. And when Manley moved to the outside, it was hard for Colley to even get out there and reach him. And it forced the errant pass. You're exactly right.
Runniger to punt, and Jenkins, the 4th-year man out of Bucknell, back to receive. Runniger angles the kick, and it takes a nice little convenient sideways bounce out of bounds at about the 12.
That was cute. Runniger, kickers will do that deliberately. They really will. They can put a certain spin on that ball, keep it from turning over, and they get that kind of bounce, and you can really get it on natural turf.
Well, the annual Big 8 showdown, and why should this year be any different than any other, for the Big 8 championship. Oklahoma 3rd ranked in the country, Nebraska 5th ranked on CFA College football, with coverage beginning 3 Eastern time Saturday here on ABC.
Still no word from down in the locker room on Mike Wilson. As soon as we hear something, we will get back to you. They are x-raying him right at the moment.
1st and 10 Washington from the 11-yard line. Schroeder going over the middle and incomplete. Intended for Didier, and that's Carlton Williamson staying right with him.
So many times Didier will split out to the right or the left, as he was there, and he'll pick up a linebacker in the coverage. Several times has happened tonight. Tonight, however, that particular play, they had Carlton Williamson with Didier, who can handle it a little better than a linebacker could. Earlier, they had the linebackers out there trying to cover him. He's been open, but Schroeder has not opted to throw to him.
2nd and 10 from the 11. Schroeder over the middle to the tight end. There's a penalty marker down as Didier takes it to the 34-yard line, and he is shaken up, and there's a flag down.
Obviously, it's going to work against the 49ers, and what a weapon Didier is.
Holding, number 22 defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
McKyer.
Schroeder's view, and you don't see all that much. Sometimes when you look down on it, where our cameras are mostly focused, you don't see how tall these defensive linemen are. He just had a quick glimpse of Didier breaking free. He had to read it, he had to time it, and he did it perfectly. But Didier, as big as he is, still can make the move deep, and he is quite an offensive weapon.
And the penalty was on McKyer, who was holding Clark, who wasn't remotely involved in the play. Warren in motion from the 33 on 1st and 10. On the run, incomplete. That's on Larry Roberts, who's quick. Number 2 draft choice out of Alabama, pressuring him.
That's a couple of pressures now for Roberts. The rookie 2nd-round draft pick. Very quick. Schroeder forced out of the pocket and forced to deliver the ball before he had a receiver that he could find downfield.
49ers trying to work in some rookies. They've got Roberts doing a nice job. They have Charles Haley doing a nice job at linebacker, and of course the 2 cornerbacks in McKyer and Griffin. And they're getting some extra playing time this year because of the injuries to which we referred earlier. 2nd and 10, 6 minutes to play in the half. High throw, incomplete, intended for Clark and almost picked off by McKyer.
Overthrown, but it was right in the hands of McKyer. Lost the concentration just a little bit as Clark went up, put out his hands. And looking over to the sideline is quarterback Schroeder, the play being wig-wagged into him by head coach Joe Gibbs, or from the sidelines. Joe Bugle, the offensive coordinator, in concert with head coach Joe Gibbs.
3rd and 10, Washington from the 33. Pressure, and in the grass before the fumble. There's no fumble. Tina Turner gets a sack, and the ball will be at the 16-yard line. He was in the grasp, and that effectively ended the play.
Tina Turner has been a big play man for so many years for the 49ers. And let's take a look at it again. Watch from the end zone. Keena Turner from the right side. Nobody picks him up. Schroeder reads it very quickly. Nothing he can do. Keena Turner is only about a 220-pound linebacker. He is so quick. That's his 3rd sack of the year. But he is also one of the leading tacklers on this 49er team. And he always seems to be around with the fumble recovery, the interception, and in this case, a sack that forces the punt from deep in Redskin territory.
That's one of the few times the offense loves in the grasp. Otherwise, they were in trouble with a fumble. Costa's kick taken at the 36. And Griffin is dropped at just about the 36-yard line by Tim Morrison after a 47-yard punt. 5:30 to go in the half.
Good coverage.
Washington.
Good coverage on that punt of the special teams of the Redskins, and they have not been the type of special teams that the Redskins have had over the past few years. They have prided themselves so much on their special team efforts, and they just got a beauty there.
First and 10. San Francisco at its own 37. Redskins ahead 7-3. Montana to Clark. Minimal gain, 2 or 3 yards. Alvin Walton wrapped him up.
We We had fireworks in the early going. If you were not with us earlier, Montana completing passes all over the field, as was his counterpart, Jay Schroeder. Things have slowed down rather dramatically as defensive adjustments have been made. But when you have the likes of Jerry Rice and Dwight Clark and Art Monk and Gary Clark, it can happen on any play.
2nd and 7 from the 40. The pressure is on, and the pass is incomplete. And Olkowicz that time was chasing him down. Intended for Cribbs was the pass. It'll be 3rd and 7.
That's not the role that Olkowicz plays in a major way. But now twice he has been right in the face of Joe Montana. He came up 8 years ago as a free agent, and you had the feeling, at least for the first 4, 5, 6 years, that they were trying to get rid of him. They kept bringing in linebackers, working him into his spot. Nobody could get him out of that arm.
They get him out on a passing situation, though. 3rd and a long 6, and they put Monty Coleman in there for pass defense, number 51. And Montana going deep. He's got Rice, and Rice makes the catch. And that pass was slightly underthrown because Rice was way back of Morrison, and had Montana really been on target, that was a touchdown. But Rice had to slow up, came back to make the catch, and Jerry just keeps having a fabulous season.
Working against the rookie, Tim Morrison. The blitz was on. That means single coverage. Morrison was not even there. This time, I think Montana just wanted to make absolutely sure that he had the completion. And he perhaps could have lengthened that out and gone for the touchdown, but he wanted to be absolutely sure. He had him so wide open, and he was right in there with it. Rice is remarkable. That's his average coming into the night on 49 receptions, so he is right on pace.
37-yard pickup, and Montana has to take another timeout. It's the second one he's used. And so Joe, who used one on the last series, comes to the bench, and he's down to his last timeout.
So his wife Carol on hand with him. Bobby has been having a few problems recently. We wish him the very best. And I know that goes for a lot of cab drivers around this country. A lot of good old boys and a lot of former teammates and Bobby's opponents.
We were talking about Kemp. Now, the 49ers, as you can see, the only team with 3 different quarterbacks to have 300-yard passing games. Montana had his in the opener against Tampa Bay. Then Kemp, and Mike Morosky did it as well against the Saints, but that was in a losing cause. Montana tonight, 14 out of 21, 190 yards. 1st and 10 from the 23. Joe protected well, has Clark, and Clark goes down in a pile at the 19-yard line. 2nd and 6.
Montana wanted again to go deep. Wanted Rice. Good coverage on Rice. Showed a lot of confidence in his own ability because Clark had a lot of folks hovering all over him.
3.5, and only 1 timeout, keep in mind, for San Francisco in the half. Manley trying to get the crowd stirred up. 2nd and 6 from the 19. Montana to the 10, and Washington gets it back as Coffey got it away from Frank.
It was Olkowicz who put the pressure on Montana again, coming from the middle. 3 times now they have not picked Olkowicz up. And 2 times you can accept. The 3rd time you better get somebody on him. Redskins second and long, as they usually do, come with the blitz. Of course, Montana out of the pocket. He can throw all right when he goes to the right. Or through the left when he can't get rid of it. Watch number 52. Nobody even looking at him. The man who perhaps should have been there was Joe Cribbs, who took a quick look, and then he had him to pick up Rich Malott on the outside. Montana tried to squeeze it in there. Coffey just took it away from the intended receiver, John Frank.
Literally took it away. From the 10. 1st and 10. Skins have all of their timeouts remaining. 3:09 to go, first half. Washington ahead 7-3. Rogers out to the 15-yard line. Montana with 2 interceptions tonight. Meanwhile, back in the locker room, the word is no results yet of the no results from the x-rays taken of Wilson, but he has full mobility from what we're told right now, and feeling. And the initial prognosis is optimistic, and that's obviously great news. 2nd and 5. First down for Rodgers, and Lott wrestles the ball loose at the 26-yard line, and San Francisco winds up with a football. And George Rodgers, who's been prone to fumbling, that's the 7th time he has coughed it up this season. He ran right into Ronnie Lott, almost ran Lott over, but somehow the ball came loose.
Big turnover for the 49ers. They've been living on this all season long. They came in tonight with 34 of them, and they're very reluctant to come up off the natural turf. They don't want to give it up, and the man who comes away with it is Griffin, who was struggling in the early part of the game tonight, a rookie from Middle Tennessee State. But let's watch again. Rodgers, who has not been cutting back, has been doing that well tonight. He has the ball put away, has a good grip on it. Somebody just whipped it out of there. Ronnie Lott was in on the initial hit and pulled it out, and he's been doing that ever since Ronnie Lott started playing this game.
And the Skins are going to be penalized again for unsportsmanlike conduct as they argue too vociferously.
Don Griffin collecting the fumble. They have a 2:21 remaining in the half. Big break for the 49ers.
And now, apparently they're going to check upstairs with the replay official. And the Skins are indicating
look
another
again.
story. We'll see it again here.
Again, Rodgers doing what he says he has not been doing well, cutting it back against the grain. Here he is, Ronnie Lott, in on the tackle with a couple of other 49ers. Now, has the knee touched the ground before Lott pulls it out? It looks like it has.
Right. Now, the only thing I'm questioning is whether the whistle had blown the play dead.
After further review by the replay official, the ball was dead, no fumble.
I doubt
the unsportsmanlike conduct foul will be assessed against Washington.
I doubt if the whistle had blown, it would not ordinarily be blown on a running play at that point. The ball pulled out of there, as you saw, and as they did, the official in charge of the video replay.
Again, let's go back to that one word. Remember the adjective indisputable? Was that indisputable visual evidence?
It was termed indisputable. And take a look. The knee on the ground, that is when the play is dead. Ronnie Lott is there. He's got his hand on the ball right there. Knee has touched the ground. He still has possession of the ball. Lott pulls it out. And looks like an excellent call to me.
Meanwhile, as McElwee points out, the Skins argued the initial rule, the initial call, and thus that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty is assessed. So that's a case of losing the battle but winning the war as they keep the football. Replay booth is telling us that the knee was down before he lost possession. That is their official ruling.
Ronnie Lott causes so many things to happen as a defensive player. O.J. Simpson, also out of USC, says he plays defense offensively.
Meanwhile, you can see Al Conway, the umpire. He's the man with the earpiece, the headset, and the contact upstairs. So maybe they're looking at something else right now.
Tony Viteri is the instant replay official for the NFL tonight. A whole lot of things going on down there.
I think they're probably just checking where what they're probably doing here is checking exactly where the play was whistled dead so they can assess the penalty.
First down was made on the play after the foul. It's first down, Washington.
So first down, but a first down, and instead of 10, it is a first down and 23.
It's effective, but there's still some kinks in it. We're going to have to order brunch here shortly.
Yeah.
But there's no question about the call. It seems to almost always compound itself, however.
First and 23 back at the 12. 2:07 to go. First half, 7-3 Washington. And Rodgers
Takes it out to the 22, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. And you see Rogers squeezing that football, however. He shook his head a moment ago when he fumbled it. He got a reprieve on the replay. And, no one is more aware of the problem than the running back himself, in this case, George Rogers.
Rivals the San Diego Chargers. It's an ABC NFL special Thursday night.
1:58 to play. Washington has all of its timeouts. 7-3 Redskins. Washington scoring its touchdown in the first quarter, and the 49ers, who missed a field goal in the first period, got one here in the second. And thus it's Washington by 4. They have all 3 timeouts left, and at their own 23-yard line, it is 2nd down and 12.
Who would have believed it was 7-3 the way this game started out?
Kelvin Bryant to the 32-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
I think they'll have Bryant in there much of the remaining plays here in the first half, because as we pointed out earlier, he's a fine receiver coming out of the backfield, whereas George Rogers is more of the bulldozing type runner. Bryant offers the extra dimension of being able to come out of that backfield as a good receiver.
On 3rd and 3. Schroeder pressured, escapes, fires to the sideline, catch made, 1st down at the 39-yard line. Clint Didier somehow holds on.
An offensive machine. Not a whole lot of Pro Bowls in his past, but there have been a whole lot of Redskin victories. The big man gets the open plane. Schroeder chased out of the pocket, trying to direct traffic deep downfield to Art Monk, actually. But Didier had worked himself into position at least where Schroeder had an option. And more than that, he gets the 1st down, stops the clock with 1:04.
Big play on several counts. He gets the 1st down. They keep possession. He goes out of bounds, so they don't have to spend a timeout, and they still have all 3 remaining. Warren in motion from the 39 on 1st and 10. Schroeder fires and dropped at the 48-yard line by Gary Clark. It's right there, and the normally sure-handed one drops one.
It was almost, what could you say, too well thrown? That was absolutely perfect. Clark will not miss many of these for you. We saw him a couple of weeks ago against the Giants. 11 receptions, 241 yards, and Schroeder was right in there with it. Right off the shoulder pad. Tough. Probably should use the hands, but who is to critique Clark with the kind of season he's been having?
Started to slip just a tad before that pass got there. 2nd down 10 from the 40-yard line. Pump fake, and then back to the left side to Bryant, who has no blocking, and he stopped for no gain at the 39. And they have all of their timeouts left, and the clock continues ticking down. And what do the Redskins want to do here? As they keep looking at the bench, and there's confusion as Schroeder finally looks over and he gets the signal, and the Redskins just blew about 12 seconds, and there's no excuse for that.
That's interesting. I think while he's had all the poise in the world, has Jay Schroeder, no way he should have had to look over to the bench. You're at the 40-yard line, nearly, of your own 40-yard line. You've got a 3rd and 11 situation. You don't want the seconds to tick off. He lost about 10 or 12 seconds out of it. And while he's very cool, nevertheless, he could have saved himself some time at this point.
And so with a timeout, we can go back and have a look at some action yesterday at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, where the Giants took on the Vikings. Vikings were ahead 13-12 in the 4th period when Phil Simms went back to pass. 25-yard strike to Bobby Johnson, and the Giants went on top by a score of 19-13. Tommy Kramer was hurt, so Wade Wilson was in there for Minnesota. in the fourth period, and Wilson threw only 6 passes, but one of them to Anthony Carter for a 33-yard touchdown, and the Vikings took a 20-19 lead. But then Raul Alegre with his 5th field goal of the day, and it came after a 4th down and 17 completion from Sims to Bobby Johnson. Alegre with his 5th field goal, and the Giants win it by a score of 22-20.
I hope a lot of people saw that 4th down pass by Sims. It was one of the great ones.
Meanwhile, 3rd down and 11, Washington here. Skins at their own 39. Penalty marker. Bryant does not have the 1st down, and let's see about the marker with 27 seconds.
Nevertheless, that's why they want Bryant in there. He can do those kinds of things, whereas Rodgers can't.
Offside against Washington, and you would assume the 49ers will decline it because that'll make it 4th down. And McElwee just making sure with Lott, who looks over to the bench. And Lott saying no. Let's make it 4th down. We decline.
Offside, number 84, offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Clark.
How's this young receiver grown up over the past year? Out of James Madison College. He has just had a remarkable year thus far. A lot of it is so much respect for Art Monk over on the opposite side.
So Griffin back. Steve Cox stands at his own 30.
Yeah.
And he lets it go. And it rolls dead at about the 7. This is pretty academic, though. A flag now goes down. In light of the fact you would suspect the 49ers will just sit on the ball and run the clock out. And in fact, there are 2 penalty flags down. Man downfield too early.
48 yards. There's a flag down.
For Washington. That's at least one of the calls. Clock down to 16 seconds. Now McElwee wants to get the other call. This is just what we need at 10:51 Eastern time. The way this game is going, it's going to wind up in prime time in only the Philippines.
35, offense. Illegal block in the back, number 54, defense. Replay the down.
Certainly works well for the 49ers. Great punt.
Well, again, any kind of a punt here is going to effectively end the half.
You get that kind of bounce on a natural surface, a soft field like it is here at RFK Stadium, and these punters can actually attempt to do that, and we've seen a couple of successful efforts tonight. Runniger had one who also came back, hit inside the 10-yard line. Again, we still have no word on wide receiver Mike Wilson of the 49ers, no definitive word, but they have x-rayed him, and the prognosis apparently is better than we had thought when he was injured.
And from what we understand now, Frank, as another flag goes down, the x-rays were negative. 2 flags again, and that one is inside the 5. Again, it hardly matters here, because even if the 49ers come up with the football at their 20 or their 2 or whatever, wherever, they're going to run the clock out. Down to 5 seconds now.
One more punt and we'll be out of here.
Did you see where the Kansas City-Denver game went 3 hours and 49 minutes yesterday? No overtime. Folks, we may be closing in on another record.
Illegal motion on the offensive end. Encroachment on the defensive nose guard. Replay the down.
Can't anybody here play this game?
Boy.
We hope you were with us in the first quarter of this game when it was absolutely electrifying. Both teams moving up and down the field.
Started out as as pretty as the Miss America contest, and it's ending up like hog heaven here.
So much on the line, however. Washington 8-2. They need the win to stay with the Giants. Dallas 7-4 in the NFC East. San Francisco 6-3-1. The Rams lost yesterday to New England. They're 7-4. They're watching tonight. New Orleans still alive at 6-5 out of the NFC West.
We've seen this act.
Number one offense. The Sooners can explode, and they back that attack with the nation's top defense. Now they face one of this season's toughest tests, their Big 8 rival, Nebraska. Ranked 5th, the Cornhuskers need a win to tie for the conference championship and a possible Orange Bowl bid. Coverage begins with college football today, Saturday.
The long-awaited debut of the Rams rookie quarterback from Purdue, Jim Everett, was a smash hit yesterday in Los Angeles, if not a winning one. In the second quarter, Everett replaced Steve Dills, with the Patriots leading 13-0 over the Rams. Everett is back and looking for wide receiver Henry Ellard. Ellard is there. At first, it was ruled the ball was caught out of the end zone, but the replay official reversed the decision, and the Patriots' lead was cut to 13-7. In the second quarter, the Patriots still leading 13-7. Rams ball, 2nd and 8 at New England's 24-yard line. Everett slides out of the pocket, off balance, gets the ball to Barry Redden at the 24-yard line, and Redden takes it in, breaking tackles all the way. The Rams taking the lead 14-13. Then in the fourth quarter, with the Rams leading 21-16, it's the Rams ball, 2nd and 15 at the Patriots' 20-yard line. Everett is back once again. A lot of time. Looks and fires into the end zone. It's Henry Ellard once again, and the Rams lead went up to 28-16. Still in the fourth quarter, the lead still 28-16. Tony Eason is bringing the Patriots back. Over the middle to Irving Fryer, and the Ram lead is cut to 28-23. The last play of the game, Eason is back. The Hail Mary into the corner of the end zone. It'll be tipped by Stanley Morgan, and it falls into the hands of teammate Irving Fryer for the final blow. New England defeats the Rams 30-28. They stay within 2 of the New York Jets in the AFC East. The Rams fall from the lead in the NFC West. And while the Rams have turned to youth, the Raiders have once again turned to their ageless one, Jim Plunkett, and he's responded as he always has. First quarter action, there is no score against the Cleveland Browns. The Raiders ball, 1st and 10 at the Browns' 46-yard line. Good protection for Plunkett. Down the sidelines goes Dokie Williams. The Raiders take the lead 7-0. In the second quarter, the Raiders have added a field goal. It's their ball, 3rd and goal at the Browns' 3-yard line. Again, good protection for Plunkett. A pump fake. He finds Christensen at the back of the end zone, and the Raiders are up 17-0. But the Browns battle back. In the fourth quarter, it's 17-14 with the Raiders on top. Plunkett back once again, and once again looking for Dokie Williams. Williams puts a move on Mark Harper into the end zone. The Raiders lead at 24-14. They go on to win at 27-14 as the Raiders remain 2 back of Denver, a winner over Kansas City in the AFC West. Cleveland falls into a tie with Cincinnati in the AFC Central. And you can see the Raiders taking on the Chargers, led by Dan Fouts in San Diego this week on a special Thursday night edition of
Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Dodge, setting new standards of performance. And by MCI, communications for the next 100 years.
Washington on top 7-3, and back deep to receive for San Francisco are the double Derricks, Crawford and Harmon, and Cox to kick off. A low bouncing kick and fielded up at the 20 by Frank, the tight end. Nice little juke step there, and out of bounds he goes out at the 33-yard line. Run back by John Frank. And the tight end comes out as the other tight end, Russ Francis, comes in, as does Montana. 15 out of 23 in the opening half.
And you have to almost suspect that they have done something to work on the left cornerback of the Redskins, Tim Morrison, replacing Darrell Green. Over the other side, Barry Wilburn, only last week, replaced Vernon Dean. A lot of inexperience in that secondary for the Redskins.
Montana to the air on 1st and 10, and Clark can't make the one-handed grab on a high pass. Montana 194 yards at halftime, Frank, so he's on a pace on which he'd come close to 400, and wouldn't that be the oddity of oddities, as last week we'd made mention of the fact Bernie Kosar became the first NFL quarterback in history to throw for 400 yards in a game and not throw a touchdown pass. It had been done 80 times, and Montana on that kind of a pace right now. And with that, not only a touchdown pass, the 49ers without a TD period. 2nd and 10. Craig behind Ayers and runs into his own man. Ayers, who couldn't get out of the way, and Todd bowls him over.
49ers have been working much to the left, and is doing a couple of things as we look at the first half numbers, with the 49ers prevailing, well, not on the scoreboard, at least in total yards, but the 49ers are running left. They're running right at Dexter Manley, and they're forcing Manley to make a lot of plays against the run, and that should start to tell on the pass rush of Dexter Manley, the best pass rusher for the 49ers, or rather the Redskins, as this game goes on. Probably by design, by the way.
3rd and 5, and Cribbs is in motion. And Montana throws over the middle for Rice underneath, and that doesn't fool Washington.
Montana was hit, and he's hurt.
And he is helped to his feet by Manley. And able to trot off the field.
Let's pick him up on the isolated camera. Montana had just released the ball. Manley getting away from Colley. And they really did pull up on him a little bit. Unfortunately, he was between both man and Manley. Nothing out of the way extraordinary in that play.
Rudiger to punt. Jenkins back to receive. Line drive kick, and Jenkins fields at the 25 and fakes the reverse, keeps it himself to the 40. One man to beat, and it's Frank who saves the touchdown. John Frank at the 36-yard line. They fake the reverse to Monty Coleman, the linebacker, and the 49ers pick, and then Jenkins is able to return it to the San Francisco 37.
So effective. Ken Jenkins made that look absolutely real. We'll see it from the reverse angle. The key to it is after the fake is kind of let up, kind of relaxed. Let him think for sure the ball is gone. And watch Jenkins. He does just that. Sort of just sits there. Gets away from the one man who had a chance at him, Derek Harmon, and then everyone else was reading it the other way.
And Frank saves the touchdown. 1st and 10, Washington at the 37-yard line.
Come on, Joe.
Schroeder for Clark. Incomplete. Double covered by the 2 rookies, Griffin and McKyer. The 2 rookies had him sandwiched.
Schroeder tried to get it in. Now, you know when you have double coverage, and you're going to see it right here. McKyer, 22. Griffin, 29. You know when you get this kind of coverage, on the other side, Hartmut or Didier has got to be in single coverage. Perhaps the one bad read of the night thus far for Schroeder. Somebody had to be on single coverage. He had the time. If he could have found him, it would have been a more judicious choice.
2nd and 10. Clark left, Monk right. And with Didier in motion, the pass to Clark, who gets hammered, and a flag goes down. Griffin hit him as the pass got there, and the marker is thrown.
So close.
Pass interference, number 29 defense, 1st down.
Very close call.
Let's watch it again. Again, they're double covering. It really isn't a double cover, as he is released inside by Griffin. He's going to get help on the inside from Ronnie Lott. There it is. The ball almost reaching the fingertips. It was a very close call. The hit did come before the ball reached his hands. A good call.
1st and 10, Washington at the 27. Again, it's Didier in motion. And he lost it for Clark. Another flag, and Clark comes down with the ball for the touchdown. Clark and Griffin, and we'll see about the call.
I think it was against Griffin, trying to protect himself. Schroeder with great protection.
Touchdown.
You could read the lips, holding Griffin. He knew he was beat. He had no other choice. Here's Gary Clark. Little sidestep. Fought his way through Griffin. And more than that, if they hadn't called it, Clark with a great catch. There he goes. And Clark getting his own licks in there. The flag had been dropped for the contact that had been made as Clark came off the line of scrimmage. And again, a good flag.
Zendeja
DeHaas for the extra point. Close, but good. Clark for the TD. Then DeHaas with a PAT. And Washington leading 14-3. Well, 14-3 Washington. Again, the Redskins trying to go 9-2, which would tie them with the Giants and put them 2 up on Dallas in the NFC East. The 49ers trying to remain in first place in the NFC West as Harmon and Crawford drop back. Right now, percentage points, the way it stands, in front of the Rams, who played one more game. But the Rams would be first and San Francisco second if Washington wins it. Cox kicks off. Deep. Touchback. And so the 49ers, who have not been doing a very good job protecting Joe Montana tonight, take over at their own 20-yard line. Now, as we look at the schedule, we're going to get to know the 49ers rather well. Their next 3 games are at home this Sunday, Atlanta, and then on Monday night, December the 1st, we have them against the Giants. Then the Jets at home, the Patriots at Foxborough. Then we're going to see their closing game Friday night against the Rams on December the 19th. Lots going to happen in the NFC East and West over the next few weeks. It could be well decided in a couple of weeks.
Rice comes in motion. And Cribbs comes to the outside and is stopped at the line of scrimmage. And Grant and Manley and the whole crew firing up this Redskin crowd.
They're a great crowd. 155 times consecutively they sold out, and the word is now official on Mike Wilson of the 49ers. X-rays are negative. And that is good news. They are negative.
And he's wearing a neck brace, but the prognosis is very optimistic. Montana fires over the middle, and it's a first down for Clark, stopped by Dean out at the 31-yard line. Montana to Clark. No 49er fan will ever forget that phrase, that pass. There's even a horse now running out of the West Coast called Montana to Clark, who won the second race at Hollywood Park about a week ago. I wasn't on him.
Came back well from knee surgery. But his numbers over the past couple of years will never match those of 81, 82, and 83.
On first and 10, Francis to the 40-yard line. Stop there. Wilburn and Coleman make the stop. So Francis has been a pretty quiet man tonight. You know about Russ and the stories of his pursuits. He retired from football for a year.
Interesting man. Didn't want to play for the Patriots. They didn't want to do anything with him, so he took a year off. Did a little skydiving, did a little scuba diving, flying a helicopter over Hawaii, a little bit of everything. Renaissance man, to say the least.
He did a little color for us in college football. Interesting little story about his skydiving.
That'll put you back in the game.
Yeah. 2nd and 1. Cribbs to Craig, and we have a penalty marker down as he's pushed back. And we'll see about the call.
Flags or no flags. This is a fired-up Redskins defense.
False start, right guard and right tackle.
Frank, just to follow up on Russ Francis and the skydiving, he told me a few years ago that a magazine writer called him and said, I want to do a story on you and your skydiving. He said, I had never done any skydiving in my life. I didn't want to disappoint the guy, so I learned how to skydive preparatory to the guy coming out to do the article. All he needed was the suggestion.
49ers have a field point.
2nd and 6. Clark to the 46-yard line.
And Montana bumped once again. Had to hold it a little longer than he wanted to, and Dave Butts gave him a pop, and he went down. Redskins defense have literally been coming out of the ground, and they do this to you. They play a lot of the same people. They keep Mann, Butts, Grant, or Hamill, and Manley in there most of the game. And what Bill Walsh was very frank about, he's a very candid coach, told me today, he said if we can stay in there, we think we can do better later in the game as these veteran players who stay in there most of the game begin to tire. Well, we'll see if that works out. Came out at halftime really fired up, however.
Montana for Clark, and Clark's looking for a flag and not getting it. And he was wrapped up right there.
He was looking
with Vernon Dean.
He was looking at it because Vernon Dean had his arms wrapped around Clark's arms. Let's take a look at it again. Clark driving against number 32, Vernon Dean, spinning away from him. Watch right at the end now. As Dean gets an arm inside and knocks the arm of Dwight Clark off the football.
Where was the flag on that play?
Referee, I guess, could construe that he was just going for the football, as was Clark.
2nd and 10, and Montana throws for Craig and incomplete.
Again, the Redskins defense, they had that little breather. A flag is down, but they had that little breather at halftime, and they have come storming out here in the 3rd quarter.
And against the 49ers again.
Holding, number 69, offense. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's Bruce Darth Vader Colley, the man taking Bubba Parrish's spot.
You know, there's quite a bit to what Bill Walsh said about the defense, which stays in there pretty much intact, that front four, about their pressure. In the '83 NFC Championship game, the 49ers were down 21-0 late in the 3rd quarter. Redskins just did hold on to win that game, 24-21. Now an unusual spot for the Redskins to use a timeout.
Yes, they were confused on defense. They didn't know who they wanted in there, and thus they have to take a timeout, do the Skins, with 9:41 to play in the
incredible win over the Dolphins earlier this season. Now Miami wants to settle the score. They meet next Monday night.
The San Francisco 49ers have a 3rd down and 10 at their own 46 after a Washington timeout on defense, and Joe Montana retreats. And he lofts it deep. Down the sideline, caught by Rice at the 15-yard line, and he beats Barry Wilburn. Runs right down the sideline. Wilburn was there with him, but the pass is perfectly thrown, and it's a 39-yard gain.
This time Montana got the protection he's not been getting. Even then he was pressured just a little bit, but Rice had beaten Wilburn right off the line of scrimmage, and Montana reading it very quickly, fired it in there. That was a well-thrown football, but again, Rice is sprinting by Wilburn. I don't know whether you watched the tape of last week's game against St. Louis when Rice did that 3 times.
That's 6 times now in 11 games that Rice has been over 100 yards in receiving. 122 at the moment. Cribbs in motion. 1st and 10 from the 15. Cribbs was the intended receiver. 2nd and 10. Montana sharing a light moment with the man who was going to ring his clock.
Dexter Manley, very vocal, and has been this past week. And I think he was asked to just quiet it down just a little bit. Whether he did, I don't know, but he was right in a way, and Joe Montana agreed with him. I shouldn't be out here if I can't take the shots.
On 2nd and 10, Rice is wide open, and Montana can't get it to him. And how often will that happen? And Joe can't believe it.
Wilburn blew the coverage with Walton over on the right side, and Rice was all alone, freewheeling into the end zone, and Montana overthrew it.
Meanwhile, flag and the call against Washington.
Illegal use of the hands, 52 defense, hands to the face, 5 yards, automatic 1st down.
Neil Olkowitz.
That is a tough penalty.
It's a tough penalty, but the Redskins with a big break, in as much as Montana had an easy touchdown if he could have gotten it there.
49ers love those little crossing patterns. They like to bring Cribbs underneath a wide receiver breaking crosses, a bit of a screen, and it seldom gets called.
1st down from the 10. Over the middle, a little flip, and it is incomplete. Incomplete is the call. Cribbs never had control of it. second down.
Again, for Montana, there was pressure, even though he had just such a small pattern. It takes such minimal time. He still had Redskins in his face again. Another flag is down.
Holding, number 69, offense, still first down.
Boy, that left side of the 49er line, that's twice now Colley's been called for holding. Ayers has been called for holding twice tonight. And the left side having a tough time keeping out Manley and Grant.
Everyone has a tough time keeping Manley out. 12 and a half sacks into tonight. 15 last year. Number 72, top of your screen.
First and 20. And Butts gets the sack. That's his second of the night, and he's the fella that had 2 in the opening game, and the 36-year-old veteran had drawn a sack blank until tonight when he has 2 more.
Watch again, 65, left side of your screen. They were trying to cross block that. Play action fake. Quillen and Cross were cross blocking to make it look like play action, and Butts, he's been around a while. He wasn't fooled at all, and he beat the cross block. And after 14 years in the league, the oldest defensive lineman, still clever enough and still quick enough to make the big play.
In fact, they've given Butts an extra sack. He has 3 officially. Second down and 28. They can get a first down without a touchdown inside the 1. Clark, 19-yard line, pushed back by Dean. And when you're down by, and there's another flag, and when you're down by 11, you're not thinking field goal.
Flag is down at the 5-yard line. And it's going to work against the 49ers once again.
Delay the game, number 16 offense, still second down.
Just didn't get it off within the 30 seconds.
Delay of game is a very appropriate penalty for this game.
Down stays the same, and you would suspect Montana will try to get about half of it. He needs to get down to about the 1-yard line.
Second and 33, and Craig takes it to the 20, and no flags on the play. Third down and 20.
Now they are in what one would suspect Ray Wershing field goal range, although he's missed one tonight from 35 yards out. On the third down, it will still leave them in a much better field position to work it in. And Francis goes left, the 2 wide receivers. That's Rice and Clark will work over the right side.
And Francis stays in tight on the left side. With Montana looking over the middle and then throwing for Rice, who goes down, does an acting job, but won't get the call. Rice ran up Coffey's back, but the officials don't fight, and it's 4th down.
Coffey had great position, and he just let Rice run right up his back. Montana, no other receiver. Here it is. Number 48 is Coffey. And there he is, positioning himself perfectly. And down goes Rice, and out comes the field goal unit.
He knew he had no chance. His only chance was to somehow try to sucker the official into the flag. No way. 37-yard field goal attempt for Wershing, who has missed one from 35 and made one from 34. This one 38 yards. And this one is perfect. So they settle for 3, but they're still down by more than a touchdown. It's Washington 14 and San Francisco 6. It's the prettiest picture of the night for us, because there's Mike Wilson, who was on the field for about 10 minutes and carried off, and the x-rays were negative, and he's looking pretty good. Kickoff comes down to the 5-yard line, taken in a bunch by Verdun, and he brings it out to the 26. And so Schroeder comes back out. Jay Schroeder played his college ball at UCLA, though he wasn't a starter for much of his career. Has that surfer look in his figures. He went to Palisades High School in Los Angeles, where you can see the Pacific Ocean from some of the science classrooms.
Ah, the good life. You can see much more than that. There's Jerry Rice on the sidelines. Only played a
Yes,
couple
he
years
can.
at UCLA. Went off and tried to be a Toronto Blue Jay. Well, he run into the likes of Dwight Gooden a couple of times and announced to everyone he was eligible for the draft. Bobby Beathard did his thing, and here he is.
Didier in motion from the 26-yard line, and it's George Rogers slanting out to the 31. Charles Haley makes the tackle. 2nd and 5.
Rogers is not breaking off big runs tonight, but what he's doing, he's keeping the 49er defensive line honest. They can't think pass. They have to think run because Rogers has been popping through there for 4, 5, 8, breaking 1 for 10. That keeps the defensive line honest. Consequently, they have not been pressuring Schroeder on the pass. He's had a lot of time tonight.
2nd and a long 5 from the 30. And Schroeder gets the long 5 and about 6 more as Clark makes the catch, and he's run out of bounds out near the 40-yard line.
5'9", 173-pounder, and he plays like a 6'3", 205-pounder. 5 receptions on the night tonight. Not a whole lot of yardage. He was averaging over 17 yards coming into the night, but they have been effective. Several key first down receptions. A little 4 or 5 yard reception, then tacking on 4 or 5 more like he did just there.
1st and 10 Washington from the 41. For Clark, and he's covered by Griffin. Had a half step on him, but good coverage.
Schroeder knows he missed a 6. If he could have led that inside, Clark would have been gone. He had the inside move, had a step on Griffin, and it would have been 6. Take a look at it. Now, Griffin has done well when Clark has gone to the outside. When Griffin has come inside, he's been open almost on every occasion. And they have continued to leave Griffin out there alone most of the night on Clark. And again, it's because of tremendous respect for the other side, Art Monk. He's not having the great year that one might expect, but he is drawing a lot of double coverage. Art Monk is, and consequently, Clark is getting single coverage.
2nd and 10. And Monk blanketed. And another penalty. McKyer for the coverage. The 49er bench is irate.
Pass interference, number 22 defense.
Tim McKyer for Walsh. That's as irate as he'll look.
22 defense, 1st down.
Take a look at it again. Now, McKyer has got Ronnie Lott on the inside, helping against Monk. Moves back in, and it did not look like pass interference, at least certainly from this angle, and the flags continue to fly. And the way we have watched defensive backs and the permissiveness, if you will, over the past couple of years, that certainly was a very close call.
1st and 10 from the 44. Rogers out to the 47. 6:50 to play. We're in the 3rd quarter. Redskins on top 14-6.
Moving right into December.
You think we can get to San Diego by Thursday?
Good game, though. So much on the line. Even though we have all the penalties, what we have are 2 teams out there really battling each other. Washington needing this victory to stay with the Giants at 9-2, and the 49ers maintain their percentage lead. Close call.
1st and 10 from the 44. Rogers out to the 47. 6:50 to play. We're in the 3rd quarter. Redskins on top 14-6.
Moving right into December.
You think we can get to San Diego by Thursday?
Good game, though. So much on the line. Even though we have all the penalties, what we have are 2 teams out there really battling each other. Washington needing this victory to stay with the Giants at 9-2, and the 49ers maintain their percentage lead over the Rams.
2nd and 7 from the 47-yard line. And the pass caught by Monk at the 42-yard line for a first down. He got inside of McKyer.
Now they're starting to find Art Monk out in the flat against a rookie McKyer. What they're doing, they're helping on the inside. And meanwhile, most of the time they are coming with single coverage. Don Griffin against Gary Clark on the other side of the field. Again, it is Clark going way to the left. He'll get the single coverage from Griffin. Monk is on the inside.
And Didier in motion to the right. The pitch goes to Kelvin Bryant. He's looking to throw, then tucks it in and goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line. He was looking downfield in the direction of Didier, but he was covered on the play by Carlton Williamson.
Good move by Bryant. Didier was well covered. No one was even reading the run. They were concentrating on Didier. Carlton Williamson was, and he was right there for the coverage, and Bryant read it very quickly and turned what could have been a loss into a 1-yard pickup.
2nd and 9, Washington at the San Francisco 41. To Monk, incomplete, dropped it. Griffin was right there to pop him, but Monk should have had it. 3rd and 9. Meanwhile, there's Dave Butts, who is having his ankle wrapped over on the Washington bench.
He's had a big game tonight for the Redskins. Getting long into the 3rd quarter, and he still is coming hard.
For Monk, and broken up by Griffin.
Griffin works so well when his receiver takes the outside route. The only time he has been hurt, and hurt badly, has been when the receiver has taken the inside route. That time they put Monk over on Griffin, who is going to think, what have I ever done to you guys? They have been picking on him all night long. But again, this is fine coverage by the rookie 6th-round draft pick. He has good position. The only time he has really been trouble tonight is when the receiver has given him an outside look and moved to the inside, and then he's been beaten big.
Steve Cox to kick. Fair catch is called for and made at the 14-yard line by Griffin. And thus San Francisco will get the ball back deep in their own territory with 5:19 to go in the 3rd quarter, and Washington ahead by 8. All right, gang, there's tonight's quiz. Who holds the NFL record for career rushing touchdowns by a quarterback? Let's bring Vanna White in to turn the card over. Who do you think, Frank?
I know a lot. Who isn't?
Yeah, right.
A lot of them I played with. Chaz Connolly for one. Why Tittle?
Yeah.
I'll just throw it out there. Probably isn't. It's too obvious. Fran Tarkenton. He was such a good runner and played so long.
Look at this.
Oh, Jack Kemp. He was a great runner also.
By the way, in case you're wondering, even though Kemp spent a lot of his career, in fact, almost all of it in the old AFL, those records do count. When the merger came about, they agreed to add the figures from the old AFL days. First down from the 15-yard line as Cribbs starts this drive with no gain.
And another flag.
2nd and 10. Another flag for a change. Against the 49ers for a change. Will it be Ayers or Colley?
Holding number 81, offense.
We have a new player.
Still first down.
A new figure on the scene. That's Russ Francis. Same side, though, with Colley and Ayers. Brings it back to the 7 and makes it first down
and 18. Montana for Rice. Out of bounds. Covered by Wilburn. 2nd and 18. Dexter Manley, number 72, working up the crowd in the end zones. No way Montana could ever change a playoff if he wanted to. There's Dexter. He's loud and he's good. One of the fine pass rushing defensive ends. There he is. He'll get him fired up. Get him sparked up, and Montana couldn't change his play at the line of scrimmage if he wanted to. The stadium will be rocking by the time they get up to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 18. Francis in motion. For Rice, wide open. Out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Wilburn and Walton were kind of in the neighborhood, but Rice was open by 8 yards. A bit of an answer by Joe Montana to people who question the strength of his arm. That was an out at about 20 yards downfield, a tough pass to throw. And look at Rice's numbers already tonight. Remarkable second-year man out of Mississippi Valley State. Came in tonight averaging 21 yards with 12 touchdowns. And he just dug the 49ers out of a deep hole in their own territory.
1st and 10, San Francisco at the 30. 4:46 to go, 3rd quarter. Clark in motion. Drops it. 2nd and 10.
And the little crossing pattern with Cribbs crossing in front of Dwight Clark. Clark was there, dropped the football.
Great race going on. My man Kelly Hayes wants to know what comes first, the 4th quarter or Tuesday? What is it, 11:50? Betting line in Tahoe is Tuesday. Bet the over. 2nd and 10. Short of Francis, 3rd and 10. Pressure by Daniels.
Again, defensive players ride in Montana's face. They come at the blitz. Daniels is right there. Montana has to get rid of it. And when you get the kind of pressure Montana is getting tonight, you respect him for what he is, because he has been looking at 49ers right in his face almost the entire evening. San Francisco has attempted 38 passes tonight. Washington 30. That's 68 total. One of the reasons it's going so long, of course, the other, so many penalties.
3rd and 10 from the 30-yard line. Incomplete. Flag thrown.
Montana hit again by Okowitz on the blitz.
And Rice finally gets the break here as Wilburn was covering on the play along with Bowles.
Another flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
There are 2 flags down. One is back at the 29-yard line. A pair of flags.
Offside, number 80 offense. Defensive pass interference, 45. Penalties offset. Replay the down.
Can you believe that? They say Rice is offside, and so we replay the down.
Wilburn would have a good argument, say I had to defend him illegally because he was offsides. There's the movement. We couldn't see it as it related to the snap of the ball. Again, Montana took a vicious shot from Okowitz on the blitz.
Meanwhile, 3rd and 10 from the 29-yard line, 4:35 to play in the period. And again, Clark started to move on the right side, along with Rice.
I'll tell you, the referees have been busy tonight, but this has been a sloppily played game. The midway in the 1st quarter.
Number 69 offense.
And a lot of activities taking place over on the left side where there's been so much concern about Dexter Manley. Fine pass rushing defensive end for the Redskins. You're right, Al. He doesn't show much expression. You know he's not enjoying this one.
No. He's a man who enjoys everything aesthetic, and this game has been anything but aesthetic. 3rd and 15. And it bounces off the back of one of the Redskins and incomplete as Mann put the pressure on Montana, who gets dropped again. And Joe keeps paying the price.
Well, we know he's healthy. At least he was coming into the game. Okowitz right up the middle. Mann missed completely by Keith Bonhorst on the right side. No one even touched him. Down he goes once again.
So Jenkins back at the 37-yard line. Max Runniger takes the snap at the 10. High kick, decent distance, fair caught at the 34-yard line. 42-yard punt. Montana taking a lot of shots tonight. The offensive line obviously having its problems tonight. The 49ers
trying to
not establishing a running game.
Trying to confirm the orthopedic surgeon, Arthur White, that he is indeed healthy.
And it's a different story this week because the Skins are not the St. Louis Cardinals. Meanwhile, Thursday we'll be with you from San Diego, where the Chargers, who fell victim to Dallas yesterday as the Cowboys had to come from behind, meet the red-hot Raiders and Plunkett. Thursday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. 1st and 10 from the 34. Schroeder for Monk. Stays in bounds at the 43-yard line. Shy of the first down by about a half a yard.
Schroeder rolling to his left, right-handed passer, good athletics. Montana did that very well until he injured his back, and that's how he did it. Rolling to his left against Tampa Bay in the opening game of the season. It's an awkward position. That's how he hurt his back.
Didier comes out for a rest as Anthony Jones goes in, number 82. 2nd and half a yard. And Schroeder falling down.
Is this a full moon tonight or something?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you like
there is a full moon, by the way.
You like to keep referring to all the pressure on these players tonight because of what's on the line, but this is absolutely ridiculous. Everything is happening. Let's take a look at it from the reverse angle. It was play action. Right there, Schroeder trying to get it out. I think it was. Down he goes.
That was Anthony Jones, who had come in, number 82, who may not have known what the play was. 3rd and 7 from the 37. Schroeder chased and throws low, and it's 4th down. Kelvin Bryant was the intended receiver. And the way things look, Frank, midnight's going to beat the 4th quarter.
Well, it has to be midnight somewhere.
Tuesday by a nose.
Schroeder genuinely upset with himself. He had the open man and threw it right into the turf. Sermonette coming your way.
Griffin back at his own 23-yard line with Cox to punt. '29-yard line, and after the 36. Sean Burks made the tackle, and here come the 49ers now with 2:53 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Boy, you do earn it, don't you? Griffin very slow getting up.
34 yards. The return by Griffin, 8 yards.
Now they're going to look at Griffin as he continues to lie on the turf. Tried to split a little bit of a gap. It closed just as he hit it. And hopefully it's just the wind knocked out of him. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is strictly prohibited.
49ers tonight, a team that has played in spurts. And again, we'll take another look from the reverse angle at the shot taken by Griffin, who is still down out at the 36-yard line, running over and into his own man.
Tried to break inside the block and was hammered. Now he's on his feet and able to leave the field without any assistance.
Ran into Bill Ring. So at the 36, 1st and 10. Funny thing about the 49ers, in talking to Bill Walsh, one of the things he felt was that if they could get the job done defensively the balance of the way, they'd be okay with all of the injuries. And I don't suspect he had much concern that offensively the 49ers couldn't get the job done. But tonight they've been limited to 2 field goals. And here they are trailing by 8 from the 36-yard line as Craig is dropped at the line of scrimmage by Alvin Walton. And again, the 49ers unable to establish the running game. Clicking from time to time in the passing game, but just not getting the job done.
Interesting, though, Al. The appearance of this game is that they have been totally dominated by the Redskins. The Redskins came out after the halftime and are all over the 49ers. They have not given up any big plays, but you look up at the scoreboard, is 14-6. And the 49ers, as explosive as they are, we figured they'd put a lot more points on the board than they have. They are right there with the Redskins.
2nd and 10, Cribbs in motion. Pass, but a flag as Clark gets wrapped up, and Vernon Dean doesn't believe the call.
Dean is saying he positioned himself in front of Clark, and Clark ran right into him. But it'll work against Dean.
Pass interference, number 22, defense, 1st down.
He meant 32. Let's take a look at it again. Dean on Clark, man for man. Clark with a little move to the outside. Dean is there. You can't hit him after 5 yards. Can't make that contact after 5 yards, and Dean did.
In the Eastern Time Zone, gang, we made it. 2:07 to go in the 3rd. Second and 10. Jerry Rice, the intended receiver.
Barry Wilburn, the defender.
2:02 to go in the 3rd, but this ain't the 2-minute warning, gang. This is the 17-minute warning.
Giants, of course, watching tonight. They beat Minnesota yesterday. They're scheduled. Denver at home this Sunday. Then they play at San Francisco in a game we'll bring you. Then they're at Washington. Home for St. Louis and home for Green Bay. That's the remainder of the Giants schedule.
2nd and 10 as Montana throws for Rice, and he has it. And his forward progress should net him the 1st down at the 48-yard line, where he's tackled by Wilburn.
The numbers keep mounting for Jerry Rice. He was open a moment ago, and Montana almost got it in there. He came right back with it, and now the 49ers want to take a timeout. Don Griffin, who was shaken up on that punt return a few moments ago, is still feeling lowly on the bench. He did, however, walk off without any help, and there is Mike Wilson, who we were very concerned about. And they x-rayed his neck, and the word is that he is in fine shape.
1st and 10, San Francisco at the Washington 47, and now Washington wants to take a timeout on defense. So signaled by Butts, and they have to do it again. That's the 2nd time that the Redskins have had to take a timeout in this half on defense. And thus, we've seen it all tonight. In the 1st half, the 49ers had to take 2 timeouts early. Now, Washington has to take 2 timeouts early in the 2nd half.
The good news is they won't have that many remaining in the last 2 minutes.
Joe Montana, and again, we mentioned it last week, how fascinating it was to discover there had been 80 games in which the quarterback had thrown for 400 yards in NFL history, but not until Kozar did it last week had the QB gone without a touchdown pass, and Montana looking for an instant replay tonight.
It'll be interesting, too, to watch Montana and the 49ers, and the game is growing long, but we are growing into the latter part of the game when Bill Walsh feels they can be much more effective against a Washington defense that keeps those front four pretty well intact. And as many times as they have had to pursue Montana tonight, they are an older group. They stay in there for most of the action, and consequently, he feels that they could tire in the fourth quarter. They don't do that many substitutions along that front line, and they have been doing nothing but throwing the football tonight, and consequently, they have had to exert a tremendous amount of effort. So we'll see if the thinking of Bill Walsh will hold up.
1:28 to go, third quarter. Washington 14, San Francisco 6. First and 10, 49ers at the Skins 48. Cribbs hammered down by 77 Darrell Grant after a gain of a couple. Second and 8. Might be a few folks late for work in our nation's capital tomorrow. Our tax dollars may not be at work until about 11 o'clock in the morning. Second and 8. Rice incomplete.
Kennedy Stadium, of course, been a very busy Kennedy week here. The Joseph E. Kennedy Foundation for Mental Retardation Service, Distinguished Service. Those awards were passed out tonight right before the game at Kennedy Center, and later on the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Awards will be presented out this Tuesday by Mrs. Robert F. Kennedy. Of course, the stadium here in memory of the late Robert F. Kennedy.
Third and 8 at the 45. For Clark, who runs an out pattern, and a nice move by Vernon Dean to get his hand in there.
Oh, that was. Clark had a good move on Dean. He made a fine recovery and got back in. Now watch Dwight. Dwight will make a move to the inside. Dean is reading it all the way, got back in, and that ball was thrown before the move by Dwight Clark. They work on that a lot, Montana and Clark, and they have for years.
Runiger kicking to Jenkins. Jenkins back at the 10. 47 seconds to go in the third quarter. Jenkins lets it go. And it takes a 49er hop and out of bounds at the 10-yard line. After a 35-yard kick, and Runiger pinning Washington deep with 38 seconds. Coming up on Saturday, our CFA college football presentation features the Oklahoma Sooners, ranked third in the country, against the Nebraska Cornhuskers, ranked number 5. Winner goes to the Orange Bowl, loser goes to the Sugar Bowl, and the coverage begins at 3 Eastern time right here on ABC. Washington at its own 10, first and 10. And George Rogers fights his way out to the 12-yard line. And it'll be second down and about 8. Heisman Trophy winner back at the University of South Carolina.
Oh, and what a rookie year he had. George Rogers coming in with the New Orleans Saints. Over 1,700 yards rushing as a rookie.
The way South Carolina pays honorariums this day, maybe you can go back and make a speech for 20 grand.
It did end the third quarter. And we move into the fourth period. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football will return after this message from our local stations. You've been here this long, don't go away.
Wednesday.
It's a strange feeling. I'm kind of uncomfortable.
You should try these benches. When Shakespeare goes punk.
Alas, poor York.
Everybody gets into the act.
A greatest play ever written.
The Rocky Horror Show.
Head of the class.
Wednesday.
Tonight on Eyewitness News, as the Bears look ahead to Sunday's game against Green Bay, Jim McMahon says he may be ready, but Ditka has his doubts. Find out the latest after the game.
He's a smooth operator in every way. Such a smooth operator, he's got it made. Schlitz, smart liquor, full power and smoothness all rolled into one. A winning combination that's second to none. He's a smooth operator, one of a kind. Such a smooth operator, any place, any time. No one does it like the fool.
If you've never driven a Mitsubishi Galant, get ready to soothe your nervous system. The Mitsubishi Galant, patiently crafted to keep an impatient world at a comfortable distance. Mitsubishi.
Eric Estrada chips in on the Hollywood Squares.
A lot of numbers and very few points on the scoreboard. It's all back and forth, a lot of flags, a lot of pass attempts, and consequently we have moved well past midnight as we begin the fourth quarter. If you've just joined us, this is not a mini-series. It's the Redskins and the 49ers playing for a very important for both of them. Washington, they need it to tie the Giants in the NFC East. The 49ers need it to extend their lead over the Rams in the NFC West.
And the fourth quarter starts on 2nd and 8 from the 12-yard line, and he flips it out here to Don Warren, number 85, and he's taken out of bounds at the 16. On the clock, that third quarter took 57 minutes, going from 11:12 to 12:09. And the third quarter is normally a quick quarter. And the Redskins trying to keep that streak going.
Hope the 49ers don't see that. Rather impressive. They've also won 32 of the last 38 games played here at RFK Stadium.
3rd and 4. As Schroeder has it tipped and almost picked off. Keena Turner. What a big play that would have been.
Jay Schroeder's pass intended for Calvin Bryant, incomplete.
So Washington to punt now on 4th and 4, and as Cox comes in to boot it away. Steve Cox, 6th year out of Arkansas, a little under his season average tonight. And Don Griffin, a busy man at cornerback and returning punts, is at his own 45 and is backed up on a boomer by Cox. Griffin at the 33, flag down out to the 39-yard line, and they're going to probably call a clip here on the 49ers. Torrey Nixon trying to lay down a block.
And another one at the line of scrimmage.
Yep, 2 flags. One at the line of scrimmage, one on Nixon.
51 yards.
I think we got to start isolating on the line judge, the back judge.
The return by Griffin. 7 yards. There's a flag down.
Number 86, receiving team holding post possession. Number 20, receiving team, illegal block above the waist. Both fouls, post possession.
Bet you Dan Jenkins is really loving this game, huh?
They have got a lot of time tonight.
Just in case you haven't noticed. Oh, boy.
At least we will not play it over. Both penalties post-possession. And the major marched off.
First and 10, San Francisco at its own 24-yard line. Reverse, Rice. And Rice goes out of bounds up near the 34-yard line, very close to a first down. Rice runs the reverse with some frequency. That's the 7th time he's carried this year.
Again, along with the philosophy of Bill Walsh, because they keep that front four intact so much in there, they have been rushing Montana throughout the entire night as the 49ers have majored in the pass. Now they come with a reverse. They have to chase him all the way around there. They have to be tiring somewhat, and this is when the 49ers feel that they can really start to move the football in the air.
Craig on 2nd and 1. That's the first down as he takes it after the 36-yard line. First down, San Francisco. 49ers go back, take a shower, get dressed, go to the airport, and take a charter flight into the Winter Winds home tonight. And land in time maybe for lunch.
Talked about the exhaustion that might be setting in for that front four of the Redskins. Montana has had 43 attempts tonight. That means they've had to go at him 43 times. Go in a reverse, go in a lot of sweeps, and they've done a lot of that. That's a lot of work.
First and 10 from the 37, and Rice takes it across the 50-yard line of the Washington 48. Jerry Rice having another big night. Out of Mississippi Valley State, he once caught 24 passes in a college game against Southern. Needless to say, nobody out of that Southern secondary was drafted in the first round.
Had 49 receptions as a rookie, averaging just under 19 yards, and he only started 4 games a year ago. They found out a lot about him from the midseason on, however. He's a great one.
You saw them working on Craig on the sideline. First and 10 at the 48-yard line. Montana hit as he throws, and wide open is Cribbs, and he drops the football. Dexter Manley was there. He pressures Montana, but Cribbs drops it. And so Rice was wide open before, and Montana overthrew him. And now Cribbs can't hold it, and the 49ers still can't get into the end zone.
Bottom of your screen, 72 once again, getting around Bruce Colley. Had time, however, to get it off. Montana was making sure he had it right off the fingertips of Cribbs. It's a catch that he could have made, should have made, right in the hands, and no one feels worse about that than Cribbs, but that's 6 points he lost right there. And again, Manley now is just about the only one that continues to go at full bore out there. And Walsh's thinking might start to become very true.
Second and 10 as Montana throws to the near side, and it's incomplete, intended for Clark. Third and 10, 12:56 to go in the fourth. Washington leading by 8. Rice tonight, by the way, on the other side, has caught 9 passes for 173 yards. Receiving yards, there it is. Jerry at 173, and all of the Skins, 1 less.
A lot of that in the middle of the field, however.
Third and 10 from the 48. Flips it out to Craig. And Rogers spurts forward to the 42, but it's 4th and 4. As the clock ticks down to 12:40.
Redskins playing over their head, so to speak, defensively. 20th in the league coming into tonight. They have been so effective. They've given up yardage at the middle of the field, but every time the 49ers got even the threat of a drive going, they've been able to turn them off.
Runniger kicking with Jenkins back at the 10. And a nice play is made at the 2-yard line to keep the ball from going into the end zone as Torrey Nixon is able to keep it in, and that pins Washington deep after a 39-yard punt.
I got a new truck, it's a Ranger, you know. Got the looks I want and it is ready to go. Plenty of room with all the power to run. On or off the road, my Ranger's ready for fun. Let it go! Driving a Ranger down the highway.
Ford Ranger, built fun tough.
More profound than words. Diamonds.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
Meet our family's newest member.
Our new high-performance Tandy 1000 EX. PC compatible and now at an incredible $799, including a Christmas bonus color monitor. We saved $300.
And it came with DeskMate software like word processing, budgeting, filing, and more.
Of course, all work and no play.
Makes a dull computer.
Right.
The Tandy 1000 EX computer, just $799, only at Radio Shack.
The Big 8 title is on the line. Third-ranked Oklahoma is aiming for an Orange Bowl bid. Number 5, Nebraska, has that same goal. They meet Saturday following college football today.
Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Washington, D.C., RFK Stadium, fourth period. 12:05 to go.
And growing older.
Yeah, boy. First and 10, Washington from the 3. Skins ahead by 8. Rogers pushed back. Stover and Keener in on the play. Second and 10.
Big series for the 49ers defensive team. If they can keep them down in here, they are going to get the ball back in great field position. Redskins with a 14-6 lead. They'll be a little careful how they put it up down here. Although we watched the Redskins through the season, watched them against the Giants. So much faith does Joe Gibbs have in his young quarterback, Jay Schroeder. He'll let him do just about anything from down here.
Second and 9. Rogers is gang tackled. Third down. Did you notice last week, Frank, Ed DiBartolo, the owner of the 49ers, turned 40. And just in case he wanted to keep it a secret, his wife and daughters took the entire back page of the life section of USA Today to wish him a happy 40th.
That's better than the Goodyear blimp.
Right.
Third and 7, and a tough situation down here. You don't want to turn it over, but you also don't want to be punting from down here if you can avoid it.
Schrader pump faking, in some trouble, but scrambles out. Penalty marker is down. A lot of room for Schrader. He's out of bounds at the 26, but there's a flag at the 10. McElwee's going to need some throat lozenges. Against the Niners.
They lose it both ways.
Holding, number 27 defense, enforced from the end of the run. 5 yards, first down.
Carlton Williamson.
Never hurts to have an athletic quarterback, does it? Strong arm. Jay Schroeder, nice and cool out there. Remarkable. And seems so much more experienced than he actually is. His 17th start for the Redskins. But he didn't throw it away. Got the first down on his own, and of course the additional yardage from the penalty.
Turned a near safety into a 20-yard pickup. First down to 31. Rogers. Gain of 3. Second and 7. George Rogers not electrifying by any stretch of the imagination tonight, but functional and keeping it moving, averaging 5 yards a carry, 85 yards.
Takes the 49er defense too. Think defense and against the run. That's what you need to do. You hear the old cliche, we have to establish the run, then we can pass. Well, it's true. You hear it from every coach because that's exactly the case. And the Redskins have been able to do that tonight. 49ers have not been able to get the pressure on Schrader because they are thinking run.
Second and 7. Bryant out to the 40-yard line, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 1. Kelvin Bryant. It was fashionable for a lot of people to say that Bryant was going to have more of an impact than Herschel Walker when they both came out of the USFL. That hasn't been the case thus far. Part of the reason, of course, is Bryant's been hurt, but Herschel's done the job in Dallas. 3rd and 1. Bryant again. And he's out of bounds at the 42-yard line and should have the first down.
Bryant was a little upset. He thought he could have cut that back and picked up additional yardage, but he did get the first down. And of course, he was injured in the second game, hurt his knee on the IR until 3 weeks ago, Kelvin Bryant. But he is going to have a major impact, I feel, and whether it's fashionable or not, he's a great football player if he can stay injury-free. And he was able to do that throughout his years at North Carolina and also for the Stars at the USFL. Great football player and great out of the backfield as a receiver.
1st and 10 from the 42. Schroeder throwing low, intended for Clark. 2nd and 10. 9:01 to go in the 4th. Redskins 14, 49ers 6.
Speaking of Dallas, Herschel Walker, the Redskins are home next Sunday, and they get the Dallas Cowboys coming in. Interesting schedule in the NFC, both East and West, over the remainder of the season.
San Francisco with a tough go of it. They've got the Giants and the Jets to play. We'll have that Giants game for you 2 weeks from tonight.
They'll have their Ram game December the 19th.
They still have New England to face as well.
At New England.
2nd and 10 from the 42. And it's Bryant who runs right into Charles Haley, the rookie. 3rd down. Is there an option? Third and 13. Washington at the 39-yard line.
Still so close, 14-6, the Redskins over the 49ers. And it was the 49ers, the Redskins a year ago. And it was the 49ers who won that game.
Schroeder throwing and incomplete. Intended for Monk. He's covered by Griffin. No flag.
It was that game a year ago when the Redskins were beaten by the 49ers. They felt kept them out of the playoffs, and indeed it did. In the tiebreaker procedure, that was the game that kept them out of the playoffs. Here's Monk again working against Don Griffin, who's been busy tonight, the rookie from Middle Tennessee State.
Griffin back to receive the kick at the 20-yard line. Cox kicking. Good kick. Griffin is backed up to his 9 and is tackled at the 14-yard line by Alvin Walton, number 40. 8:04 to go in a game in which the two teams have been penalized more than Ivan Boesky. We'll be back.
We don't know about...
We're MCI. Thousands of people pulling together to give you the best in the communications business. MCI competes with fiber optics in place now for superior call quality and data transmission. Our competition is good. We have to be better. And because we compete, you win. MCI. Communications for the next 100 years.
Watch closely. We're about to put this new Ford Mustang through its paces. The Mustang interior is completely new. Its controls have been placed within easy reach and designed to be easily operated, all of which allows Mustang to perform beautifully, even standing still. This is the new Mustang.
Have you driven a Ford lately? I am losing control. I have a TV remote, a cable remote, a VCR remote. Doesn't anybody make a TV with one remote control for everything?
Sure. Magnavox. This one comes with the universal remote. It controls the Magnavox TV and just about every brand of wireless, VCR, and cable.
A Magnavox controls Sony.
And Zenith, and RCA, and Panasonic, and...
I'll take the Magnavox, and you can take these.
The universal remote, it's 3 controls in one. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox.
Marcus Allen leads the Los Angeles Raiders in their drive for the playoffs as they take on their division rivals, the San Diego Chargers. It's an ABC NFL special Thursday night.
I never thought I'd say this, but for those of you who have just finished watching the Carson Show, welcome to Washington. 8:04 to go in the fourth.
And those of you, fewer of you, who have been watching Joan Rivers, welcome.
All 7 of you. From the 15-yard line, Montana on 1st and 10 throws to Rice, and he's dragged down at the 27 for a first down. Wilburn making the tackle, and that puts Rice into double figures in receptions.
Interesting to watch young Jerry Rice, and also on his counterpart with the Redskins, Art Monk, who in 1984 had 106 receptions, set an NFL record. They look a little bit alike. Long stride, very graceful.
1st and 10, 49ers from the 27. Montana going deep. Caught at the 35-yard line by Derek Crawford, who makes his first catch of the night, covered by Wilburn. And so Derek Crawford out of Memphis State, who's caught 3 passes this season coming in. It's the first time they throw to him, and he makes it pay off.
And again, this time Montana had the protection that Bill Walsh was saying he thought he would get late in the game. And a fine catch by Crawford. He's not big, a 5'10", 185-pounder. And got on the outside, and Montana hung that in there beautifully. Got on the outside of Wilburn, and it was right there. Good concentration. That's a tough pass to catch.
Crawford out of the USFL played with the Memphis Showboats. 1st and 10, San Francisco at the 31-yard line. Looking for Rice, who runs an out and drops the ball. And again, it's Montana down, and helped up, though, by the Redskins, by Manley.
What is it, 3 sacks and about 10 whacks? Let's take a look again. Manley is the one Redskin that continues to come. He waits until Collie sets into his position. When Collie can no longer move, step to the outside, and Collie thus far tonight has just been not quick enough to get out and get him. And he's beating him around the horn. And there he tries to get the crowd in it, and they immediately respond.
50 passes for Montana, 385 yards. 2nd down and 10 at the 31 as Montana throws over the middle. It's intercepted at the 25-yard line by Calvin Daniels.
Montana tried to squeeze it in there one time too many. And Calvin Daniels, who replaced Mel Coffin early in the year when Coffin went down with an injury, comes up with the interception, the turnover for the Redskins. Let's take a look at Rice again. Montana with his back this time to Dexter Manley. Tried to squeeze it in, never saw, I'm sure, Calvin Daniels. Again, quarterbacks are looking through cracks of their offensive linemen, blocking defensive linemen. Obviously never saw Daniels.
1st and 10 to Washington, and you would suspect the Skins will try to take some time off the clock now from the 27-yard line. And they begin with a running play with Rogers, and this figures. And he is stopped after a short game.
Had to be Ronnie Lott. All the way from the safety position. Great football player. 8 interceptions to lead the NFL after 10 games. Also, he missed the last 2 games.
Cal Daniels, who made the interception. And Montana in the high 3s tonight, but no TDs, air or ground. Monk in motion. Schroeder from Monk hits him at the 32-yard line. And he takes a pop, and he takes a late hit, and that's an obvious penalty. Ricky Ellison coming in with his head. Ronnie Lott disputes the call, but you got to throw a flag on that play. That's an obvious one.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 50 defense, enforced from the end of the play, 15 yards.
Ooh, tough one and a bad time to get it.
Yep.
Ricky Ellison, inside linebacker. Take a look at it from the reverse angle. Down goes Monk. In came the spear, and the flag was right there. That hurts. 49ers could have got it back. This time the penalty takes them almost up to midfield.
1st and 10, Washington at its own 47. 6:43 to play. 4th quarter. Niners over 100 yards in penalties tonight. Rodgers is a flag down, gang. He's to the 40-yard line. There's a marker down at the line of scrimmage. This is crazy.
Offside. Number 94 defense. Penalty is declined. 1st down.
Charles Haley. First down, Washington at the San Francisco 40-yard line. 6:10 to play in the 4th. Rodgers now has 100 yards. 100 yards, 20 carries.
Had that penalty not been declined, that would have set a San Francisco all-time record for penalties. That's the kind of game we've been watching.
Schroeder throws it away. Monk was in the neighborhood. You know who's loving this game tonight? Not only the Rams, but what about the Saints? While nobody was looking, New Orleans winning now 6-5. New Orleans, if the 49ers lose, will be a game behind the Rams. A game out of 1st, and New Orleans plays in Anaheim next Sunday.
And Dallas doesn't mind it either. The Redskins working both Monday and Tuesday. We'll have to play the Cowboys here on Sunday.
Rodgers tonight 100 yards. That's the 25th time he has eclipsed the century figure. And with this little loss here, he's back under 100. So much for that. Haley makes the tackle. And George is back down to 97.
One of 2 rookies that have performed well for Bill Walsh. Haley, the rookie out of James Madison. Same school as Gary Clark. And Larry Roberts, the rookie defensive end from Alabama. There's Haley. Haley was a 4th-round draft pick, and Roberts a 2nd-round draft pick. And they've needed them because of the injury situation.
Third down and 14. Schroeder throwing, and another flag, and another flag. 2 of them. I mean, it's not enough in this game for 1 flag on a play. We're talking multiple here, gang.
I don't know why they have to talk that over. That's fairly obvious.
Could be 2 separate calls.
Pass interference, 46 defense. 1st down.
Just drilled right through the receiver. I believe it was Didier.
Tom Holmoe.
He was starting over the past couple of weeks for Ronnie Lott, and he comes in now as the nickelback, and they have officially tied their all-time record.
We got to go back to 54 the last time they did it. 114 yards. 1st and 10 at the 32. Rodgers. But what's really shocking about tonight's game is the way the 49ers play and have played through the years. A Bill Walsh coach team, precision-like. very few mistakes. Oh, from time to time, they've been prone to having bad games, but tonight is off the planet.
It is wild, and it's been almost on every play, and it is not characteristic of a Bill Walsh team in any way, shape, or form.
And that's as frustrated as you'll ever see him look. 2nd down and 10 from the 32-yard line. Schroeder has it tipped and incomplete. It's 3rd down and 10.
Schroeder starting to act like the take charge quarterback that they thought he would be when they picked him up. Bobby Beathard drafted him in the 3rd round in the '84 draft. Tough competitor, and has really taken over.
3rd down and 10 at the 32-yard line. 4:13 to play in the 4th. 14-6 Redskins. Going deep for Clark, and picked off in the end zone. Picked off by McKyer. And the rookie stayed right with him and keeps the 49ers at least somewhat in the game.
A super defensive play, and the Redskins gave great protection to Schroeder. There was a full blitz by the 49ers. They were bringing everyone, trying to get to Schroeder. They didn't, and Clark had all the time he wanted to work with the rookie McKyer from Texas at Arlington. McKyer stayed right with him, stride for stride, read his eyes when he knew the ball was coming, turned around himself, and was right there for the interception. That's a super play by McKyer.
49ers at the 21st and 10. And they start with Craig on the ground. And he takes it out to the 31-yard line. So trying to cross up Washington, or at least make them think. They opt for a running play, net the first. But the clock keeps on ticking, and it's 3:52 remaining, or under that right now, 3:45 left in the 4th. First and 10, San Francisco. Rice to the left and Clark to the right. From the 30. For Clark. Has it. And goes out of bounds up at the 43. Vernon Dean was covering. McKyer, who made the interception. And keeping the 49ers at least marginally alive.
Good football player. A Bobby Beathard player. They got him in the 3rd round. Texas at Arlington. Washington made up of 14 free agents. 5 members from USFL teams are performing, not to mention the trades that he's made over the years.
Clark left, Rice right. First and 10 from the 43. Rice open again, juggles, makes the catch, first down at the 40.
The big thing is now Montana is getting that protection. And they doubled up that time on Manley. And they'd be well advised to do that much more. And Mann got his helmet collided and locked with Keith Farnhorst. Thought they were going to go at it for a while, but their helmets were locked together.
Meanwhile, Bernie Kosar, you now have some company, at least for the moment. 415 yards for Montana. No touchdowns.
Would that be wild if it happened on consecutive Mondays?
It's becoming the in vogue thing. First and 10 from the 40. And Montana goes out of bounds at the 36. 49ers have all of their timeouts. And there are the figures. The difference, of course, last week is that Kosar led Cleveland to a victory with a 400-yard no TD pass night. Tonight, the Niners have not been in the end zone at all.
This has a long way to go, and they're down by 14-6, and Joe Montana is getting time to throw the football. And they have to be fatigued. If nothing else, they've just been here a long time.
2nd and 5 at the 36. Montana throws, almost picked off, and that would have just about ended it. Malott can't hold it. 3rd down. 6.
Right in his hands. He'll be thinking about that all night. I have no idea who Montana
the night's gone.
was looking for. There was not a 49er receiver even in the area.
Timeout.
San Francisco.
Timeout San Francisco. They have 3, and now they're down to 2 when they take the timeout at 2:38 with a 3rd and 6. And on and on and on we go with 2:38 to go in the 4th.
Push your old antifreeze enough.
At the Washington 36-yard line. Skins lead 14-6. And the pass is caught but shy of the 1st down by Rice. And he's just made his 12th catch of the night, and that ties him with Bernie Casey, Dwight Clark, and Roger Craig for the all-time 49er record. 12 catches in a game.
4th down, and Bill Waltz with 2:14 in the clock moving will go on 4th down in about 4.
4th down, a short 4, and we're down, as you can see, almost to the 2-minute warning. And they whistle the play dead. There's no play. The crowd thinks it was an incomplete pass, but the 2-minute warning had come before the snap. The 2-minute warning had come before the snap.
No play, no play. 2-minute warning expired before the snap. No play.
There's an echo in here.
Sort of fits the game.
It does.
But it
2
will
minutes
go
to
over.
go. We think. See your camera to go up and down.
You've gone as far as we're going to go to the left.
That's it. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, as we go to the top of the 23rd inning in Washington. And the 49ers on a 4th down and 3. As Montana throws and has the 1st down. Hits Clark, goes down the sideline, and finally is dragged out of bounds at the 16-yard line. And somehow, some way, in one of the ugliest games you'll ever see, the 49ers are trying to pull this one out, and they're not that far away. They're down by 8 points, but they're beginning to knock on the door.
It means so much. 49ers can stretch their lead over the Rams. With a win, they go 7-3-1. The Rams are 7-4. And for the Redskins, they will drop behind the Giants, who will be in sole possession of first place in the NFC East. That is, saying the 49ers can pull this out.
1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. The pass goes to Frank, and the tight end is dragged out of bounds. The 49ers have 2 timeouts remaining, 15-yard line. Gain of 1. Montana's now thrown for 436 yards, and that's a new San Francisco record. He's also thrown his 57th pass, and that ties a San Francisco record. And the most completions is 37, and he's 5 shy of that. All those marks set by Joe against Atlanta in 85. 2nd and 9 at the 15. He drops it off for Cribbs. Cribbs gets to the 10. It's 3rd down and 4. Clock still rolls. And now the 49ers take a timeout, and that leaves them with 1.
Down here, you don't want to make a mistake, and that's exactly what Montana had in mind. He gestured over to the sidelines. He wanted somebody in quickly, and when they didn't get him in, that's when Joe called timeout. And it's going to be a 3rd down and about 6 situation. It'll be double down here because 3 points won't do it, so they're going to go figure they have the 2 downs. And that will be the thinking on the sidelines as Bill Walsh talks it over.
It'll be 3rd down, about 4 to go, actually, from the 10-yard line is where the ball has been spotted as they discuss it. So what happens if Washington wins? If Washington wins, the Giants and Skins would be tied at 9-2, and Dallas would be 7-4. In the West, Rams are 7-4. They'd be on top. Niners would be 6-4-1. New Orleans 6-5. Dallas can't be thrilled with Washington winning, but there's an upside too for the Cowboys because if the Cowboys look ahead to a possible wild card berth, the way things are beginning to shape up, with the 49ers losing, there'd be less and less likelihood of the wild card coming out of the West, and more it would come out of the East.
Would you repeat that?
Yes. A week from Wednesday. 3rd and 4 from the 10. And off the hand of Francis.
Bad pass. He missed him. He was open. That, at the very least, would have been a first down. And down around the 5-yard line. Nobody knows it better than Joe. Top of your screen, number 81. They like crossing patterns. And it was Cribbs moving in front of Francis. He waited a moment, got the cross in front of him, and he was wide open.
So it comes down to this for the 49ers on 4th and 4 at the 10. Clark left, Rice right. And Cribbs in motion. And the pass is tipped, and that should do it. Tipped by Monty Coleman.
Monty Coleman, who has been hurt much of the year. Good pass defender. They like him in there when they are thinking sure pass, and he makes the big play for the Redskins. And one thing for certain about Montana, we know the back is not a problem, because he was pounded all night long until late in the game. He had little or no time to throw the football, and this one should go to the Redskins.
That was the 100th pass of the night. 60 by Montana, 40 by Schroeder. 100 passes.
Monty Coleman gets the big hand up there. And the Redskins got it back. Now they go to work on the clock. Been around 8 years, Monty Coleman. They like to feature him on their pass defense, and you just saw why. A lot of quickness, good speed, and very bright.
Niners can stop the clock just once. Rodgers, 2nd and 8. Stick around, folks. This is just the first half of our big doubleheader.
Our mini-series.
I want to thank our gang up here. George Hill, Kelly Hayes, Joy Zucker up in the booth. Mr. Univac downstairs. Steve Hurt was the man who discovered last week that Kozar had become the first in history to throw for 400, and here it is again tonight.
Golda, our makeup artist.
Absolutely. That's right. 2nd down and 7. And they can run the clock out. Tonight's game produced by the Wolfmen. Ken Wolf and directed by Chet Forty. Our technical director, Joe Chavo. Associate Director, Rob Biner. Technical Manager, Rick Okulski. Unit Manager, Ed McKenna. Telecommunications Manager, Frank Fieger. Chaz Weissman and Bruce Clark. The assistants to the producer. Steve Hurt downstairs and the gang up here, and we're down to 32 seconds.
So the road gets tougher, and we are going to be watching the 49ers again December the 1st. They'll play the Giants at home, and then we'll pick them up on Friday night against the Los Angeles Rams. That's December the 19th out in San Francisco. A lot of congratulations, a lot of hugs on the sidelines. Dexter Manley with a superb game, being hugged there by head coach Joe Gibbs. Dexter Manley kept coming all night long, occupied Bruce Colley totally over in the right side, drawing his share of the penalties and also his share of the contacts with Joe Montana. Once again, touch on the Giants' schedule, because it's ever important to the Redskins. They have Denver at home this Sunday, then they're at San Francisco, as I mentioned, at Washington, then they're home for St. Louis and home for Green Bay. The final 2 games at Giants Stadium.
And that's going to do it as Schroeder goes down to one knee, and another play does not have to be run. So that'll do it. By the way, the NFL record for most passes in a game is 102, so we came close in a game that went about 348. And it's all over in Washington. Finally, with a capital F. Al Michael. Eagles, Frank Gifford. That's the story from RFK Stadium, where the Skins beat the Niners 14-6. And this ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Michelob, so exceptionally smooth, the night belongs to Michelob. By the U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start. And by Liberty Mutual for all your auto, home, life, and business insurance. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. Nobody knows Hawaii like United. This has been a presentation of ABC.